Pittsburg High School would falter in a contest against the top-ranked Class 4 team in Missouri in the Webb City Cardinals. Pittsburg High School started off on a very strong note. They led 13-6, however 28 unanswered points by the Cardinals. And it started with a defensive line and run defense for the Purple Dragons, which just wasn't up to snuff, allowing over 200 yards on the ground in the first half of action to the Cardinals.
Yeah, and that was just a tough game overall for Pittsburg, as they played one of the best teams in their season that they'll ever see again, Cam. It was just a great game, and I wouldn't say it was more devastating. I'd say it was more of a learning game for these Dragons, as it was their first game on the road. It was a Missouri team, and it was a great game to, yes, you lost, but it's something to write down, to look at, to watch some more film on, to become a better team to come into this game at Fort Scott tonight.
We talk about two high-octane offenses in Fort Scott, Kansas currently. The Tigers, 3-0 on the season, have really laid the thumping on three separate SEK schools in the Parsons Vikings, the Independence Bulldogs, and the Chanute Blue Comets. The average margin of victory has been 48-8 in the first three games of the season for the Tigers, and it all starts on the ground with the split beer offense and Zarek Fuel, who has been a monster this season. 10 touchdowns, over 500 yards on just 40 carries.
And I tell you, this Pittsburgh defense has got to get sick of this offense. Seeing it, this is going to be the third time now, Cameron, they're going to see this kind of offense. So they know what's coming. They know what to expect. It's they're just having some problems with it as they defeated Harrisonville with this offense. But Webb City was their real tester last week with this offense. So now we'll see it one more time again with Fort Scott tonight.
We will go ahead and step aside for 2 minutes and bring you the melodic voice of PHS head football coach Tom Nicholson, as well as the Tigers head football coach and Bob Campbell for our pregame interviews. Don't go anywhere. Purple Dragons, Tigers set to kick off in just a few minutes here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
Normally it's already brought over.
What's the buzz around Community National Bank and Trust? They're talking mobile banking, instant issue debit cards, rewards checking and credit cards, and let's not forget e-power checking, paying better than CD-like rates on a checking account, plus nationwide ATM fee refunds. Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Needs to get you geared up for the football game. New Pitt State gear has already arrived, such as hats, tees, sweatshirts, license plates, koozies, and even tees for your dog. We are your stop to make before headed to tailgate. There's only one Gorilla Nation, and there's only one Gorilla Gear headquarters, Jock Snitch Sporting Goods. Check us out in downtown Pittsburgh and Parsons.
You got the sports look of the day. Sporting goods from Jock Snitch.
Does your current checking account pay you up to $15 per month? With Common Sense Checking at University Bank, you can earn up to $15 per statement cycle, 10 cents for each swipe after the first 15 swipes. Qualifying is so easy. Simply have one direct deposit or auto payment plus 15 debit card purchases each statement cycle and a $100 opening deposit. Stop by the bank for more information about our Common Sense Checking. Then swipe and save. It's convenience that pays at University Bank. Branch GMB, member FDIC.
Now accepting new clients. At the Pet Care and Surgery Center, Dr. James Clark believes all of our pets deserve kind, humane, and loving treatment. From a simple checkup or rabies vaccination to performing major surgery. Plus, Dr. Clark has boarding, grooming, nutrition, and wellness checkups. Dr. James Clark can provide that loving member of your family with the treatment they deserve. Call 620-308-6454 to set up an appointment or simply visit petcarecenter.org. Pet Care and Surgery, making a difference.
Now back to Dragon football.
Eddie Lomchek on Coach's Corner, joined by Fort Scott head football coach Bob Campbell. Coach, your ball club improves to 3-0 last Friday, a 34-13 win over at Chanute. as you get set for Pittsburgh week. But take me back last Friday. Obviously, your first 2 games had been so lopsided that your varsity didn't even play a half, never mind 4 quarters. How'd you feel with your performance at Chanute?
I was really proud of the way our kids played, Eddie. You know, as you said, we knew that Chanute has some really good individual athletes, and I thought our kids overall played really well on film. There's always things to clean up, but overall the effort was really good. We ran the ball really effectively. Zarek Fuel had a really big night rushing. A lot of that credit goes to the offensive line, but a few times he just made some really good runs on his own. And I thought offensively we executed pretty well. Defensively, you know, we gave up a few yards, but overall, considering how spread out Chanute was, I thought our kids tackled well and played well on defense and really limited them to 1 score. They were able to get 1 late, but I thought our defensive effort was good.
You know, offensively, you mentioned Zarek Fuel running the ball well, and obviously that's going to be key this week as you try and play a little bit keep away. So how many questions do you still have about your team? Because you really, you know, Chanute, competitive game for most of it on the scoreboard, but your kids haven't faced any adversity. What's the biggest questions you have about your team right now?
Well, I think that's a great point. Something we talk a lot about is how do you handle adversity? You know, when you play good people and you play good opponents, even though sometimes we don't think of it this way, you know, realistically, you know, they're going to make some plays. And it's how do you respond? How do you react? I'd like to think our kids understand that and they'll react well. But until you're in that situation, you don't always know. We have a lot of kids who played for us last year. We were in some really tight, tough games. And hopefully that experience last year and the time and the experience coming back this year puts us in a position to handle the adversity if we have it and we handle it well.
You mentioned Fuel and a big night running it. I know he's a guy you've talked about from early in the summer about, you know, excited for him because of returning experience and part of a pretty good stable of running backs. I know you trust a lot of those guys, but talk about him kind of as your leading rusher and I guess a playmaker for you.
You know, Zarek is a really good combination of a lot of strength. You know, he's got good speed, he got great balance and really good vision, and he is a really very, very quality high school running back. You know, he had, I think, about 300 yards rushing the other night. You know, and then Jesse Lawrence, who is an outstanding running back in his own right, you know, has had less carries, but is averaging, you know, something like 12 to 15 yards every time he touches the ball. So, you know, a lot of that credit goes to our offensive line, but those 2 guys give us the ability, you know, sometimes when things aren't as clean or blocked as well as always, the ability to make a play out of something that's, you know, always not real crisp. So hopefully we can continue to run the ball effectively Friday night.
You mentioned your defense as well, that Chanute, they have some athletes. They'll spread you out. They'll get you in space. Maybe that's a good test for you before you play Pittsburgh because they give you a lot to account for formation-wise as well. But kind of like your offense, again, your defense hasn't necessarily faced a lot of adversity. How do you feel with where you are on that side of the ball?
Well, I think our defense is coming along. You know, we've got, as you mentioned, we saw a lot of the quick throws, the bubble game, a 3-step, you know, a lot of shotgun, different things against Chanute. You know, Pittsburgh has, I think, a really good balance of run pass. So they do give you a lot of things to defend. You know, Derek Bollingers, our Mike linebacker, had a ton of tackles the other night against Chanute. But we tackled well in space. And, you know, one of the keys to the game for us will be our defensive line playing really with good pad level, our defensive line getting a push. You know, our linebackers doing a good job of getting in drops, and then being able to get some pressure on the quarterback, I think, is always a key. But, you know, anytime you play against a 2-year starter who throws the ball really well, as Pittsburgh does, we've got to do a good job getting some pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, that'll be important. Obviously, Pittsburgh is very multiple in what they do, and they'll run some guys in motion, and so they give you a lot to account for. And, of course, they'll kind of get you going the other way with some misdirection-type plays. So as you look at this Pittsburgh offense, what do you think it boils down to for your defense on Friday?
I think one of the biggest keys is we talk about a lot, and that's alignment and assignment. You know, we talk about doing your job, and in their case, if you don't do your job, they're able to exploit that for a big play. You know, they've got good speed on offense. They do, as you said, a lot of different things. So it's really important that we're sound defensively. You know, I think the attitude that they're going to move the ball at times, you know, they're going to get some first downs, but how do we handle not giving up the big play, making sure we're tackling well in space, gang tackling, trying to create some turnovers, all the things you talk each week about. But it's, I think it's really imperative when you play against a good opponent that you get better in those areas.
Well, when you have the ball again, you obviously would love to have double-digit play drives. You want points, but obviously if you can play a little keep away, that would help your defense. What's your take on your matchup against this Pittsburgh defense?
Well, defensively, last year Pittsburgh obviously had a front four that was very physically imposing. They had a lot of size, and so I think a lot of people think maybe their defense may not be quite as good this year. But I'll be honest, watching them on film, I'm very impressed with them. They really run to the ball well. Their linebackers are active. Their D-line is not as big as last year, but they do a good job of handling double teams and playing with good pad levels. So it'll be a challenge for us. We have to run the football, but at the same time, if we get some play action, passing game that's available, or get the ball to our receivers at times, and try to be able to make some plays downfield as well. I guess the angle for us is to try to be a little bit more balanced on offense as well.
Fort Scott head football coach Bob Campbell on Coach's Corner. Brought to you by Max Motors and Larry Barrett Body Frame and Towing.
Watco Companies has been a member of the Pittsburgh community since 1983. Now a national freight transportation provider, Watco serves customers in 26 states by offering transportation, mechanical, and transload services. Whether transporting potatoes from Idaho, replacing rail cars in Iowa, or transloading rock in Alabama, Watco will never forget their roots because there's no place like home. Watco supports Pittsburgh community athletics and wishes all area teams the best of luck.
What's the buzz around Community National Bank and Trust? They're talking mobile banking, instant issue debit cards, rewards checking and credit cards, and let's not forget e-power checking, paying better than CD-like rates on a checking account, plus nationwide ATM fee refunds. Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
I had no idea you did that.
That's what I said when I learned CDL does more than just electrical work. Like plumbing, heat and air, security cameras and alarms, generators, solar panels, even signs for my business. CDL really is one company that has a solution for about everything in my home and business. Learn more at cdlsolution.com.
Paynes Incorporated in Frontenac is the driveline specialist. Paynes handles all driveline repairs for cars, trucks, four-wheel drive vehicles, and farm equipment. Paynes can also handle any general machine work and offers 24-hour wrecker service. Call Paynes anytime, 231-3170. Paynes Incorporated is located at the intersection of West McKay and Highway 69 Frontenac Junction. Paynes Incorporated in Frontenac is the driveline specialist.
To Dragon football.
We welcome you back to ESPN 100.7, minutes away from opening kickoff from Fort Scott, Kansas, and I'm joined by Pittsburgh High School head football coach Tom Nicholson. We welcome you back to ESPN 100.7, minutes away from opening kickoff from Fort Scott, Kansas, and I'm joined by Pittsburgh High School head football coach Tom Nicholson. Coach, last week a difficult matchup against an undefeated Webb City Cardinals bunch. You head into enemy territory. First quarter and a half, you guys seem to thrive, but I know you mentioned it in our pregame interview heading into the matchup that it would be a chess match between yourself as well as Cardinal head football coach John Roderick, and that it was. What adjustment did you see throughout the game?
Well, they did a really nice job from about the middle of the second quarter on, taking Dylan White, our primary receiver, away. They had him bracketed a lot, and it took me a series or two to figure that out. And as a result, they got a couple picks off of it in that second quarter, and which led to 21 points for him, and kind of made the momentum swing. So they made a great adjustment on him, and just capitalized on their turnovers. We were able to turn them over several times. Really, the difference just was we weren't able to cash them in for touchdowns, and they were, and that was kind of the difference in the game. But very, very, very good squad, and extremely physical game on both sides. I know both teams were pretty tired and pretty sore by the end of that matchup, but I was extremely proud of our kids, and that's a really good football team that our kids went over there and went toe-to-toe with. So I think we're going to – well, I know we learned a lot from that, a whole lot more than we would have if we wouldn't have played somebody that caliber. So we're excited about what we're correcting, and very excited about the way our kids performed and their effort all night long.
And, Coach, I do want to hone in on your defense to begin with.
4 forced turnovers, and when a club forces several turnovers in a contest, you would expect that team to win. However, that was not the case. But the rushing game for the Cardinals at halftime, over 200 yards. Is there any way you can plan for a guy like Durant Henderson and Will Larson going into a matchup like that?
No. I mean, no. We had our defensive staff had a really good game plan, and a lot of times we had guys there, but those are two pretty dang special running backs, and our defense has a lot of really good athletes on it, and played extremely well. But those are just good kids, and they broke a couple tackles and got a couple long ones off, and that's what they do. That's what Webb City does. They have a very big and physical offensive line, and they got two really solid running backs, and then they do enough play action and those sorts of things with Gaskell out wide that you have to stay honest, or they can just throw it over the top of you anytime they want. So it's just a really balanced, really, really athletic and good backfield. And, I know we gave up a ton of yards, but we're okay with that. They made them earn most of those yards. So, you're not going to shut that team down. They're going to get yards against anybody they play. So we were more concerned about the points on the board. And if we take away the ones that the offense turned the ball over in our own territory and gave them short fields, then I think our defense, even though we give up all those rush yards, I think our defense is setting in a much better light. They played their tails off. I have no problems with what our defensive staff put together and the way the kids played. I thought our defense was actually the bright spot of our team.
Cam Molina currently talking with Pittsburg High School head football coach Tom Nicholson. Coach, continuing with your defense, the mental fortitude of your squad, just the resilience in the second half, down a possession or two, and Webb City starts the second half with a 7+ minute drive, over 80 yards total, and your guys just stuck with it all the way, although there was a touchdown. I do want to talk about Jarek Butcher, and it's very easy to observe his energy on the field. He and Chase Johnson, the emotional leaders in that linebacking and secondary core. But can you talk about their knowledge as well? They just seem that they have a bounty of information that you could really dive into. Can you talk about how they're able to absorb all that knowledge in practice?
Well, I mean, it starts on Sundays when we put together our offensive and defensive game plans. But they're coached well all week long. Those guys watch a lot of film. All three of our linebackers, Jarek, Chase, and Dylan Jordan, all registered double-digit tackles. They were very active in the run game, making sure they were on their assignments. And they'll also be the first ones to say it was because our defensive line was eating up blocks. Our D tackles did all the dirty work for us. They were getting double-teamed by very large guys, and for the most part able to hold their own, which allowed all three of those guys to run free and make some tackles. But they care about it. They know their job, they know their responsibilities, and they do it. And if you have a selfless D line that will play low and eat up blocks, then if you're unblocked, you should make the tackle. And those three guys are all such good athletes that if they're unblocked, they'll make most of their plays. But they all three had a tremendous game. And Jarek in particular led our team with 16 tackles and a pick. He was seeing it very well, but he had a little extra bounce in his step and played extremely hard for us. But I was very proud of all three of them.
And, Coach, I think you summed it up pretty well. Really big guys, both on the offensive and defensive side for Webb City. Not only that, but experience was a huge part of John Roderick's crew. 31 total seniors on that roster. Your offensive line coming into the matchup knew they were going to have possibly the biggest challenge of the season, and it was. The rushing game kind of suffered because of it. You guys had no rushing yards in the first half of action on 13 carries. That has to be tough to attempt to emulate in practice and then transfer that onto the field. You really can't do it.
No, you can't. You can't. And our offensive line was doing pretty well on the first three. You said it. They have a pretty good defensive line, and what they're running now, that 3-3 stack defense, they have basically 10 athletes that can really run and are quick and strong, and then they have one big, solid, muscular nose guard that takes at least two of you to handle. And they just move really well, and they close down on run lanes so quick that it's really tough to hit a seam because it isn't there for very long. So what defense they're running, they've got personnel that really suits that well, and they're definitely far and away the best defense we've seen to date, and it'd take a pretty special team to play better than those guys do.
Coach, already 4 games into the season, can you believe it? Can you give us an update on the injury report?
Well, after last Friday night, that was, talking to Coach Roderick after the game, that was as physical a game as either one of us had played all year long. And for us, it really wasn't even close. We were beat up. We were sore. We had some guys who were getting treatment Sunday and Monday and a few still on Tuesday, but we expect everybody back ready to go full bore on Wednesday because we got a pretty big, tough opponent coming at us. Fort Scott is legit this year. They're another big, powerful football team, and we'll need all our horses running. But we should have a full squad ready to go here today.
And, Coach, what do you expect from the Tigers on the road?
Well, they are a pretty senior-laden veteran group. They got a lot of guys coming back from last year's squad. Offensive line, they are very big, very physical, and their two running backs run extremely hard. I mean, they're not maybe quite as big as the last two, but as far as quickness and strength, they're right there with the two we saw last week from Webb. Quarterback does a nice job just putting the ball in the right guy's hands. So offensively, very, very explosive, very dangerous, and defensively, they run a 4-3, and they're not real big. They got two big D tackles, and the other guys can just run. And so they got a lot of similarities to Webb. They're split back veer, smart quarterback, good athletes on the offensive side, and a defense that runs fast. So this is going to be a tough game, especially with a few guys dinged up at the beginning of the week. This is going to be tough, but our kids are excited about it. This is our rival, so everybody will step up.
When we return, opening kickoff from ESPN 100.7 as your Purple Dragons are on the road, ready to square off against the Fort Scott Tigers. More action here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
Larry Barrett Body Frame and Towing can tow all cars, trucks, and some semi-tractors and trailers in town or cross country. Larry Barrett has emergency wrecker service for all accidents, 24-hour towing. Been in an accident? Then call the pros. They have quality auto body repairing and painting from certified technicians for all major and minor repair jobs, and they can deal directly with the insurance companies, taking the stress out of your life. Go to barrettbodyframe.com or stop in and see them at 1601 East 27th Street Terrace or call 232-9400. That's Larry Barrett Body Frame and Towing. Customer service first. See them fast in names and numbers.
Hi, this is Dr. Brent Cousins with SEK Urgent Care. When you're sick, when you're injured, or when you just don't feel like yourself, SEK Urgent Care is here for you. Let our skilled providers treat your non-life-threatening illness or injury at a fraction of the time and cost of an ER visit. Located at the corner of Centennial and Broadway in the Meadowbrook Commons. Open 7 days a week for your convenience. SEK Urgent Care, where your family and time matter. Find us fast in names and numbers.
Marone's Food Service Incorporated wishes the best of luck to all area athletic teams this season. It has been their pleasure to provide great quality food products to area schools, colleges, and universities in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. Marone's Food Service is proud to be a fourth-generation family-owned and operated business with over 80 years of service to their customers, employees, families, and communities. Good luck to all area teams from Marone's.
No one wants to file for bankruptcy, but a wage garnishment can make it hard to pay the rent, pay the pharmacy, or even feed the family. Bankruptcy can be a viable option to help families cope with unfortunate and unforeseen financial hardship. Call Steve Stockert at Wilbert & Towner, 620-231-5620 for a consultation to find out if bankruptcy is the right choice for you and your family. Call today. Wilbert & Towner, a full-service law firm, 620-231-5620. We are a debt relief agency, helping people find the relief they need in bankruptcy.
Now back to Dragon football.
We welcome you back to a homecoming crowd in Fort Scott, Kansas, as two former Southeast Kansas League rivals are set to brandish their skills on the gridiron. It's the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons on the road, ready to square off against the Fort Scott Tigers here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7. Alongside Avi Sharma with Willie Jackson back at our KSHQ studios, I'm Cam Molina. Avi, last week we looked at this Pittsburg High football club, and it ultimately resulted in a loss against the Webb City Cardinals. But it was quite the start for the Purple Dragons. They took a 7-point edge over the Cardinals, which is difficult in and of itself because they're an undefeated team as of now, and heading into that matchup against the Purple Dragons, their offense so potent. Chase Curtis took advantage of that secondary for the Cardinals and torched it via a Dylan White 61-yard touchdown, and also a connection with Zachary Sutton and Ty Cicero.
Cam, I got to tell you, if the Dragons want to get that momentum again, they want to start off hot like they did last week against Webb City. They want to score first. They want to – who knows what this Dragon team wants to do. They either want to put it on the ground with Jelani Long or the other 3, 4, 5 running backs, however many they have, or they can air it out to who's that guy that they have? Is it number 4? Oh, that's right. Yeah. They have their air it out guy in Dylan White. So these guys have all weapons all around the place. And then who else to have at quarterback than Chase Curtis? These guys are athletically talented all over the place. And if they want to get going right now, what better way to start off on the first drive?
Now we're listening to the interview between Eddie Lomchek of ESPN 100.7 and Bob Campbell, the head coach for the Tigers. Coach Campbell said, hey, we're going to run this aggressive 4-3 defense, and we're going to try to plug the holes against this Purple Dragon club. Pittsburg High School has to start out with a strong run game to establish themselves before they take to the air.
Yeah, absolutely. And they always say a good run or a good passing game is always started by a good running game. And so that's the good thing about these Dragons is they have multiple ways of getting down the field, no matter if it is that ground game with Jelani Long or if it's airing it out with Chase Curtis leading the helm.
The Purple Dragons will begin by kicking the football off as Nathan Neat brings the football tee out to the 40-yard line. The Fort Scott Tigers are set to return, and it's their star-studded running back, it's Eric Fuel who will return the kickoff. Over 500 yards rushing through the first 3 weeks of the season. Last week, a terrific performance against the Chanute Blue Comets where he had over 300 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns in that contest, absolutely incinerating the Blue Comets. Gary Carell will start the contest for the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons with his purple helmet shining in the Friday night lights. Purple Dragons will kick from left to right. We are off. A flow of a kick that goes to about the 30-yard line of the Tigers, hesitating at the 30, trying to wheel outside the numbers, but immediately shored up near the near side boundary was Jarrett Shoemaker, the junior tight end. Now the Tigers offense will enter the confines of their field with the homecoming crowd behind them for their first offensive sequence of this contest. And it all starts with the quarterback up front for this Tigers team in Jesse Jones. Jones so far this year, 2 passing touchdowns, 9 carries, 30 yards. Jones will break out of the huddle with his crew. Ball spotted on the left hash mark on the 30-yard line for the Tigers. Motioning over from left to right will be Gunnar Brown. Jones hands off. Here's Fuel to begin the game. Fuel accelerates. He's outside the numbers on the far side of the field, the 50, the 45. Out the 40, slips out of 1 tackle. It skates all the way inside of the 40-yard line to the 37-yard line of the Purple Dragons for a tremendous 37-yard burst to begin the contest.
Wow, what a first play for the Tigers. Great run right there by Fuel as he was almost gone, basically. He outrun everybody on the outside on the halfback toss.
So a big chunk of yardage picked up by Fuel to begin the contest. 11:39 remaining in the first frame of action as Jones breaks his team from the huddle. They will now go in a pro set, I formation, 2 wide receiver set, 1 towards the near side. Hand off to the fullback and blasting up the middle, being forced back after a medium game is Jesse Lawrence, who on the season just has shy of 200 yards on the ground.
And Cam, we talked about it in the pregame. The Dragons have seen this offense time and time again, and so be ready for the triple option, the toss play at just anything that's common for these Dragons that they've seen all season long.
Tigers cladded in their all red attire, including helmets, but they do have a white tiger paw print on the left side of their helmets. Ball is on the Pittsburg 34-yard line, right hash mark, lining up under center is Jones. Jones immediately turns behind him, hand off to Fuel. Fuel, strong 1 cut towards the far side of the field, near side of the field, picks up maybe 1 yard on the carry, which will bring down up a 3rd down and 7.
I tell you what, if the Dragons want to bring down Fuel, it looks like they're going to have to take a couple Dragons to take him down because he is man on a mission so far.
3rd down and 6 to go as Fuel waits with his cohorts in a huddle at the 38-yard line of the Purple Dragon. Jones comes back from the sideline after talking with Coach Campbell. First down marker inside of the 30 at the 27. Jones comes down to shotgun formation, offset halfbacks, Fuel to his left side. Jones catapults it, far side of the field. It's caught by Gunnar Brown. Brown reels it in. He's at the 20 and slung out of bounds by 2 Purple Dragons. Chase Johnson there on the initial stop. Brett Wiemers came to assist.
First pass of the day for the Tigers, and it was just a typical 5-yard hitch route to get the first down. And just like that, Cameron, the Tigers are knocking on the door. They are in the red zone.
12-yard pickup ball, spot on the right hash mark at the 20-yard line. Jones still receiving orders from the barking Coach Campbell, wearing his tan khaki shorts as he makes his way towards the 30-yard line, talking with his coaching staff momentarily. Jones breaks his crew out of the huddle, far side of the field, lining up is Matt Campbell, who has 5 receptions on the year, just shy of 100 yards. I formation, the fullback is Lawrence, Fuel, the deep back. Turning around, Jones hands off to Fuel. Fuel met by a plethora of Purple Dragons who wrap him up and toss him down at the 18-yard line, a run of 2 yards. Fuel comes up momentarily. He's slightly animated, then makes his way back to the huddle. His teammate Lawrence slapping him on the rear end. And it was Chase Johnson, the safety, who is second on the team in tackles, there to make the initial stop.
Yeah, great play by Chase Johnson. He was snipping that one out as the nothing but positive momentum for the Tigers right now. They've been getting nothing but positive gains on every time they've gotten the ball.
9:16 remaining in the first quarter of action. 0-0 is the score. Ball spotted in between the hash marks at the 18-yard line. Coach Campbell and company have 5 seconds on the play clock, and it looks like Coach Campbell is going to use a timeout in the early portions of the contest. 9:03 remaining in the first frame of action, and we will step aside for Fort Scott, Kansas. 0-0 is the score, and currently Zarek Fuel tearing it up on the ground. More action from your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7 in 30 seconds.
If you're in the mood for shopping, visit Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall. Pittsburgh's original one-stop shopping center has a lot to offer. A great variety of clothing and shoes for the whole family, a large selection of gifts, sporting goods, events, and entertainment, plus terrific places to eat, and you can enjoy the newest movies in 8 theaters. Shop the comfortable and convenient atmosphere at Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall. There's always something happening at Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall.
Advanced technology, comprehensive quality care. That's Kanar Eye Care. We have the newest technology, but we never lose sight of what's most important, our patients. Eye care has changed dramatically in recent years, and we've been there for you every step of the way. At Kanar Eye Care, patients spend time with doctors. Total eye care from contact lenses, including bifocal contacts, treatment of disease, and surgical co-management. Kanar Eye Care, the clear choice.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
Welcome to Orthopedic Specialist of the 4 states. Neck to toe, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care group and facility in the region. Only minutes from downtown Joplin. Unlike the
And we welcome you back to Fort Scott, Kansas. Pardon the interruption in the middle of the commercial, but it was a gain of about 12 yards on the ground by Fuel as he was able to burst towards the near side of the field and slip in between the left tackle and left guard. So it will be a 1st and goal from the Pittsburg High School 5-yard line.
And we've seen those toss plays work very well for the Fort Scott Tigers, as now they're in the goal line looking to get on the board first.
Near side hash mark, full house back set. Fuel, the deep back, hand off to Fuel. He has a few lead blockers, tries to cut it towards the far side of the field. He's shirred up by 3, 4 Purple Dragons who usher him backwards at the 5-yard line. Maybe one gain on the ground with the forward progress, setting up 2nd down and goal.
And Cam, that was the leading tackler for the Purple Dragons. That was Jarek Butcher, as Butcher held on to that jersey with his dear life at stakes as he was able to keep Fuel out of the end zone. So now 2nd and goal for the Tigers.
Butcher and company last week forcing 4 interceptions against Cash Link and the Webb City Cardinals, hoping for parallel results tonight. Full house formation in the backfield once again. Turnaround handoff. Fuel tries to sneak past one defender as he tries to skate by. Again, it's Jarek Butcher there on the initial stop. He lassoed Fuel up around the ankles and stymied him at the 3-yard line. It was a pickup of 2, which will set up the football in between the hash marks, nearest the left hash marks, and it will be a 3rd and goal for this Fort Scott team.
He's the leading tackler on the team for a reason, Cam. Back-to-back tackles by Jarek Butcher, doing a great job keeping these Tigers off the field, off the end of the end zone, as Fuel will not be in on this 3rd down play. So keep in mind, this could be a big play.
So now, instead of Fuel, they will sub in Derek Bollinger. And in the deep back set will be Lawrence. Turnaround, handoff is Lawrence. He has some lead blockers. The stronger running back spins out of one tackle. He stretches his arms out. There's no signals yet. He may be down on the 1-yard line. This is similar to what the Purple Dragons had going against them last week, where they were stopped twice at the 1-yard line by the Cardinals. And the defense for the Purple Dragons now trying to pump up their sideline as well as their fan section, who are located on the far side of the field. A storm of Purple Dragons fans now on their feet. The white-cladded Purple Dragon teammates also getting ready to be rolled into a frenzy. It's 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. Deep back is Lawrence again. It will be a sneak. Jones tries to stretch out his arms, and it is a touchdown as Jones scores from 1 yard away, and the Tigers would not be denied on their first offensive possession.
Well, what else do you run at the 1-yard line, Cam, than the old quarterback sneak? If you got a Tom Brady-like quarterback there, you automatically know what to call right there. It's just a great job by Coach Campbell as the Tigers are the first to score, and they wasted no time.
About a 5-minute drive to lead off the contest. Setting to kick the PAT is Dalton Colvin. Colvin awaits the snap. The snap is held. Pigskin down. Kick is up, and the football splits in between the uprights. So 7-0 to begin the contest, and the Tigers trying to dominate at home during homecoming against their former SEK rivals. We step aside here on ESPN 100.7 for 1 minute and bring you back more action. Your Purple Dragons on the road on your sports headquarters.
Welcome to Orthopedics.
It's a feeling you get the moment you step on campus.
It's the knowledge that you become part of something more.
We're a family of crimson and gold.
Every day we challenge ourselves to achieve more.
The reason why we're here is to make a difference.
Everybody wants to stand out.
Without standing apart.
You belong.
At Pittsburg State University.
Together to provide compassionate and very personalized care, but with state-of-the-art orthopedic techniques.
And we welcome you back to Fort Scott, Kansas. Willie Jackson back at our KSHQ studios alongside Avi Sharma. I'm Cam Molina. The Fort Scott Tigers striking first during their homecoming contest, and the Dragons trying to respond in turn with their first offensive sequence. Colvin sends it deep. The ball goes out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Corbin Jefferson stared at the football like a hawk before it took 3 skips out of bounds towards the far sideline. And now the Purple Dragons will begin their offensive sequence with good field position. And the Tigers defense looking to show out in their first defensive series.
Cam, I tell you, Jefferson wanted that ball bad for the kickoff return, and he bailed away from the last second. Just a great idea to get the Dragons off and going at great field position, as you mentioned.
Score is 7-0, 6:41 remaining in the first quarter of action. The Tigers were able to procure a touchdown off of a 10-play, 70-yard drive that resulted in a Jones 1-yard quarterback sneak. And Jesse Jones, despite a stature which, at least in the press box, he doesn't look anything above 6 foot, 6'1", he was able to plow into the end zone for 6. Curtis comes out in the I formation, stacked backs towards the far side of the field. Brandis Evans, the fullback, comes in motion. It's the pitch to Jelani Long, double reverse. It's Ty Roark, the backup quarterback. Roark rolls far side. He has a wide open receiver on Long, who's at the far side at the 50. He rolls inside Tiger territory at the 46-yard line.
Cam, those are my favorite kind of plays to start out a drive. Trick play that nobody saw coming, thought was going to be a reverse play, and it ended up being a reverse pass for the Dragons as Roark threw the football for only the second time this season.
Roark, last year, who filled in 2 games for Chase Curtis, has proved quite a commodity for this team. That was a 19-yard pickup between Roark and Long. 3 wide receiver set, 2 towards the near side of the field. Long, the deep back, shotgun formation, hiking up his right leg is the senior quarterback in Chase Curtis. Curtis looks left, quick throw to the near side of the field, far side of the field. It's caught by Landon Conrad off a hitch route. He crosses the 40 all the way to the 37-yard line and close for a first down.
So the Purple Dragons wasting no time now. 2 back-to-back passes for them, and they are already in Fort Scott territory.
It was a 8 to 9 yard pickup. It will officially be spotted as a 2nd and 2 to go on the 38-yard line of the Tigers. Yet again, another shotgun formation, 1 wide receiver far side of the field. Near side will have Drew Rolfs, nearest towards the Tigers bench. Chase Curtis keeps it himself. He wheels past the 40 to the 35 and is tripped up at the 34-yard line.
Looks like that should be enough for a first down, maybe. Yes, it will be as the referees initiate to move the chains. So just like that, both offenses are clicking early here, Cam.
So it was only a pickup of 4 on the run, Avi, but Chase Curtis ran a lot further than that as he had to run horizontal first to get around the Tigers' defense and then snuck forward. 2 wide receivers set. Conrad, near side receiver. Brandis Evans and long the backs. Hand off to Evans. Evans cuts inside. He has 1 man to beat. He shakes off the last defender, and he has Pater. Touchdown, Purple Dragons. A 33-yard rushing touchdown from the stocky Brandis Evans as he was able to shirk off 2 defenders and found his way into the end zone for 6.
And Cam, we saw Brandis Evans go off late in the game against Webb City, and so Evans doing his thing, and just like that, Dragons didn't even waste almost a minute or 2 minutes off the clock, and they're almost tying this game up.
Just a 4-play drive that went 65 yards. And kicking for the Purple Dragons will be Gary Carroll, as Nathan Neef will not be kicking this week. The hold was not very good, and it's blocked off the edge. There is a flag down on the backside. It is a false start on the Purple Dragons. Coming off the edge and recording the block was Tyler Gorman, the junior. So the Purple Dragons, for 2 consecutive weeks, will be denied a PAT, and those repercussions could be felt later in the contest, Avi.
Yeah, absolutely. Something you don't want to have, because extra points, as much as they don't look like they're that important, Cameron, they are very important, as now it is a 7-6 game for the Fort Scott Tigers. Is now potentially, you never know, they could go for 2 on this drive to make it even a bigger lead for them.
We will keep it here on ESPN 100.7. Score is now 7-6. Purple Dragons trail by 1 point. And it was a drive that lasted just about a minute and 10 seconds. 4 plays, 65 yards. Brandis Evans, a big plodding halfback, was able to barge into the end zone for a touchdown as he was able to elude 2 Fort Scott defenders en route to a 33-yard burst. His 2nd rushing touchdown on the year. And now Nathan Neef is on the field setting up the football on the tee. So an interesting situation where Coach Nicholson elected to begin with going with a different kicker, and now Neef, their original kicker entering the season, is on the field.
And Cam, I noticed that Neef on that right knee has it taped up, and so potentially that could be something for the Purple Dragons, as Neef will now kick this thing away.
And Neef sends it deep all the way to the 3-yard line as Fuel runs into one of his own teammates and bouncing towards the near side of the field, having 1 or 2 blocks in front of him, skimming his way past the 35 to the 40s. Alex Michon, and Michon is notched out of bounds inside of his own territory at the 42-yard line.
Just like that, Fort Scott, great field position to start off this drive, as I believe he actually ran into his, oh, wait a minute, there is some laundry on the field, Cam.
So there are 2 flags, as you said, Avi, one at the 20-yard line of the Tigers and one at the 15. The head official is marching backwards and telling the Tigers, you may as well pack your bags. And it will be a block in the back on the Tigers. So instead of having the football near midfield, the Tigers will trek all the way back inside of their 25-yard line.
Boy, that's brutal, because that was a huge, huge kickoff return. They got them all the way to the 40-yard line, and now they will start it way back as they're a little bit, they're under their 10-yard line. It's about the 8 or 9-yard line.
So the drive will start, as you said, Avi, from the 8-yard line of the Tigers. So you go ahead and detract about 35 yards off that play. Tigers, who scored last time after a 1-yard run from Jones, he will line up under center. 1 deep back in Zarek, and Zarek is wrapped up in the backfield, and he's slammed down to the turf as Joel Kafka came flying up out of the secondary to make the thump.
Great play by Kafka, and then if you noticed right there, Cam, that Fuel actually lost his helmet, and the rule is if you are tackling, the helmet comes off, you have to come off for 1 play.
So Fuel will exit the contest. Jones now waiting to receive his signals and orders from the sideline. It was a run of -3 yards as Kafka was there on the stop. 4:37 remaining in the first quarter. Jones turn around. It's a handoff to Lawrence, and Lawrence is thrusted backwards inside of his own 5-yard line, and a late flag comes in near the 5.
Not sure what that flag was exactly, Cam. I didn't get to see it. I just saw a good defensive stand by the Purple Dragons, and we'll see the official call here.
It will be a horse collar going against the Purple Dragons. So after a block in the back negated what was a 40-yard return to begin the drive, and after a 3-yard loss by Fuel on the run, it is proceeded by a horse collar on the Purple Dragons. The ball is trolleyed all the way out to the 21-yard line of the Tigers.
That's huge. The Dragons had the momentum on defense as they knocked these Tigers back time and time right there. But however, a horse collar is going to give them a free 15 and a first down.
4:20 remaining in the first quarter of action. I formation with Lawrence, the fullback. Fuel the deep back, and there's movement on the offensive line. And that was pretty simple to see as Elijah Wright stood up, the left guard. And Wright was just too antsy early on. I don't think he felt comfortable set on the offensive line and decided to wiggle a bit.
Just like that, Cam, we've been having penalties out the wazoo already in this quarter.
A 1-point lead for the Tigers early on in the ball game. 7-6 the score with 4:10 remaining in the first quarter. Jones again comes out in your basic I formation with one receiver towards the far side of the field. Hand off the field. He makes one cut. He's past the 20, shakes another defender at the 30, and he's gobbled up by Jared Butcher at the second level. No, Ty Cicero at the second level, but not before Fuel has enough for a first down.
Cam, did you see how fast Fuel got off? As soon as he got the ball, he took off. He was waiting. He doesn't have the Le'Veon Bell approach. He just took right off as soon as he found that hole, and that's a first down for Scott.
About a 17-yard pickup for Fuel on the carry. From their own 33-yard line again, Lawrence in the backfield, deep back will be Fuel. Strong left formation, hand off to Fuel, and he runs into a blockade of Purple Dragons, and he's stymied at the 35-yard line, a pickup of 2 yards as Dylan White was there to assist on the tackle.
And it looked like Fuel actually ran into his own teammate there as he now jogs off the field for a quick breather, as the Tigers only get about 2 yards on that gain.
3:19 remaining in the first quarter of action. Jones with his marching orders back in the huddle with his club, who are currently outside of the 30 at the 29-yard line, I beg your pardon. They break from the huddle. Strong right formation, 2 wide receivers set. Near side of the field is Campbell. Jones turns around, hand off. It's to Lawrence. Lawrence accelerates. He escapes one tackle, and Cicero finally lassos him up and drops him at the 46-yard line. A run of 11. And Avi, this is deja vu to last week when the Purple Dragons played the Cardinals.
Well, Cameron, 3 toss plays we've seen so far in this first quarter, all 3 of them above 10 yards. So you know that is a deadly play for this Tiger team.
Nearly a 2.5-minute drive for the Tigers with 2:50 remaining in the first quarter of action. Jones with his white cleats comes back into the huddle. The Tigers break from their assembly. I formation again. Deep back is Lawrence. Near side is Campbell. Jones, another pitch. Again, it's to Lawrence. Lawrence has 2 blocks in front of him. He's at the 40, and he's grabbed by the front of his jersey. Tries to stiff arm, rolls, and Rolls finally is able to usher him out of bounds with the assistance of Jelani Long inside Purple Dragons territory at the 28.
So there it is, another halfback toss.
And before that, Avi, there is a flag at the 48-yard line, not to interrupt you. So this one potentially could be coming back. And it will be a chop block against the Fort Scott Tigers. And shrugging, acting as if he's the guilty verdict, is Matt Campbell.
Well, you see a little bit of frustration for Fort Scott. They had some momentum there. As Coach Bob Campbell is just out on the field. He's wanting an exclamation. Cam, I think he's a player, by the way. He's out there on the field, almost at the numbers.
Well, Avi, that erases a 26-yard run. And that moves the football all the way back inside the 40-yard line of the Tigers.
So now what was going to be a first down way back or way in Dragon territory, it's now a 1st and 10 at the 36-yard line for the Tigers.
So a chop block and a false start on this drive for the Tigers, and mental mistakes starting to plague this team in their progress. 2:30 remaining in the first quarter of action. The Purple Dragons subsequently helped this team out with the horse collar call while this club was backed into their own end zone.
It seems that both teams are helping each other out as one team gets a penalty and the other one gets the one right after, so they just keep canceling each other out.
Night starts to fall in Fort Scott, Kansas. A beautiful purple and orange hue covers the sky as Jones orders his backfield to get into position. Turn around, handoff, trying to bulldoze forward for some menial yards on the run was Derek Bollinger. And Bollinger, the senior, was stopped inside of his own 40-yard line at the 38. Maybe a pickup of 2.
Seeing a little bit of chippiness early in this game, Cam. Always want to be careful as those unsportsmanlike penalties will come into play sooner than later if that continues to happen.
It's a 2nd down and 18 following the chop block call. 1:30 remaining in the first quarter of action. The Tigers early on have dictated the clock in this ballgame. That's exactly what Coach Campbell wants to do. Offset is Bollinger in the backfield. Handoff is to Fuel. Fuel will lob it downfield, but good coverage by the PHS secondary as Drew Rolfs quickly recovered on the play, and he had assistance from safety Jelani Long with his long legs getting back to cover.
And I'll tell you, Cam, Drew Rolfs learned from last week when Webb City ran the halfback pass that, hey, no matter what, if they toss it or not, you be prepared for that deep ball, as they ran a halfback pass and succeeded against this Dragon defense. But Drew Rolfs has learned his lesson, and that's not going to fly again on him.
Well, Coach Campbell has opened up the playbook in its entirety in the first quarter of action with 1:21 remaining on the clock. 7-6 the score. The Tigers leave. Shotgun formation for Jones as he has offset backs. To his left is Fuel. Campbell, near side receiver, his foot's at the 35. Jones stands back, pump fakes, lobs it on a corner out towards the near side of the field. It's up and incomplete. Drew Rolfs in coverage.
Just a little too high for his man, Campbell, as now the Dragons got to love that momentum there, as it's going to be a 4th and long, and so they're going to get the ball potentially what could be good field position for them.
4th down and 18 to go as the Tigers will bound out onto the field. Alec Michonne is set to punt it away. Back to return for the Purple Dragons is Joel Kafka. He's inside of the Purple Dragons 25 at the 28-yard line. One up back for the Tigers. Snap is back. Michonne kicks it up, and a swirling punt that wobbles sideways above the lights in Fort Scott, Kansas, and the ball screams out of bounds past the 25 at the 23, and the Purple Dragons will have their second offensive series with just over a minute remaining in the first quarter.
Are you sure, Cameron? This game started at 7 o'clock. My goodness, this first quarter has flown by. We only have 1:06 left on the clock, and you aren't lying. Fort Scott milked that clock as much as they could, as now Pittsburg, who wasted no time scoring last time, will get the ball again.
The Purple Dragons scored in under 2 minutes their first offensive series with a Brandis Evans 33-yard touchdown rush. The Tigers, both drives have lasted over 4.5 minutes. Shotgun formation for Curtis as he brings a man in motion from right to left. Hand off to Dylan White. White makes a hard cut at the 30-yard line, propels himself past the 35, and the football is down at the 36. There's a late flag that comes in as Eichenberger is currently talking with an official at the 25-yard line.
Looks like that's going to be an unsportsmanlike on Fort Scott, so add 15 to it after the great run by the Dragons.
So an unsportsmanlike conduct going against the Tigers. And Daniel Eichenberger had his helmet off of his head and was pointing towards it. I think one of the Tigers may have ripped it off.
If that's the case, I believe Eichenberger gets to stay on the field, as the Purple Dragons now in great field position now at the 50-yard line.
So the ball is placed at midfield on the Tiger paw print, which is filled in with a red coloring and embellished in white. Under center will be Curtis. He turns around, hand off to Evans. Evans again breaks one tackle, lunges through in between two Tigers defenders, and he rumbles and topples forward past the 35-yard line.
Are we sure Evans is a fullback? Because he is doing a phenomenal job every time he gets the football, as he is just doing an excellent job carrying the football, and these Tigers have no idea how to stop him.
Evans with a run of 14 yards. First down and 10 from the 36 of the Tigers. Curtis comes out in a shotgun formation. Three wide receivers set. Near side receiver is Rolfs. Pressure coming, near side. Option read, and Curtis throws it on the turf. Ball is loose and scooped up at the 48-yard line of the Tigers. and Chase Curtis had the ball adhered to his hand, and it was Nicholas Krebs who came up with the loose football.
Cameron, I think Curtis lost that one as he tried pitching it to his man Jelani Long, as it might have just slipped out of his hands when he was going for the pitch.
So with 34 seconds remaining in the first quarter of action, the Tigers with sublime field position. Ball is officially spotted at the 47-yard line, and that's the 5th turnover on the season for Chase Curtis. 3 interceptions and now 2 fumbles. I formation, deuces towards the near side for Jones. He'll hand off to Fuel. Fuel past the 50 and wrapping up and dropping Fuel, and still actually hanging off to Fuel with a late flag that comes in is Dylan Jordan. And Dylan Jordan had wrapped up Fuel around his neck, and now his teammates have to hold Fuel back. He has his jersey ripped off of his shoulder pads, and now there's a Tiger that's down on the field. Hysteria currently in Fort Scott, Kansas, as the trainers for the Purple Dragons as well as the Tigers make their way out onto the field with 29 seconds remaining in the first frame of action. We will take an injury timeout. We will return in 30 seconds to your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7, your home for Purple Dragon football.
Jocksnitz has all your hometown needs to get you geared up for the football game. New Pitt State gear has already arrived, such as hats, tees, sweatshirts, license plates, koozies, and even tees for your dog. We are your stop to make before headed to tailgate. There's only one Gorilla Nation, and there's only one Gorilla Gear headquarters, Jocksnitz Sporting Goods. Check us out in downtown Pittsburg and Park.
You got the sports look of the day. Sporting Goods from Jocksnitz.
And we welcome you back to Fort Scott, Kansas. Score currently 7-6, as it appears a Fort Scott Tiger is currently making his way off the turf, as Colby Page is now limping, favoring his left ankle. Colby Page, a senior for this team, listed at 6'3", 265, and on homecoming night, that has to be a sad sign for this Tiger club, Avi.
Well, at least it's good to see Page get up, even with some assistance, but on his own power, if you will, to get off the field. Wishing him the best of luck. But remember, at the end of this play, Cameron, there was a flag, and I believe it's going to be an unsportsmanlike, and that's exactly what the referee's calling right now.
So flags have been the scourge of this contest. The ball is inside Purple Dragon territory at the 36-yard line, following Dylan Jordan's unsportsmanlike conduct call where he held down Fuel after the tackle was made. Fuel, the deep back, with Lawrence as the fullback. Quick turnaround, hand off to Fuel. He shimmies, makes a New York stop at the 30-yard line and tries to cut it back inside. A lot of dancing, and that picks up 9 yards. And the first quarter action winding down 7-6 is the score. The Fort Scott Tigers commandeering the clock and milking it to its extreme. Coach Campbell coming out with an excellent game plan. Coach Nicholson going to have to make adjustments on the sideline. We will step aside from 1 minute and bring you back your home for Purple Dragon Athletics, ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters.
Crawcan Telephone Cooperative has been serving Girard in southeast Kansas for 65 years. In 1952, we helped our members connect with each other using telephone lines. Today, we connect our members with the entire world using fiber optics. While the technology has changed, our commitment to deliver it to our members has not. Check us out on the web at ckt.net.
Headquartered in Richmond, Kansas, QSI Quality Structures Incorporated specializes in designing and building complete post-frame buildings. We provide structures built to withstand a 30-pound ground snow load and a 90-mile-per-hour wind shear built to the most stringent codes. Whether you need a garage, agricultural building, commercial facility, or custom-built design, we're your one-stop shop for post-frame buildings. QSI. Everything we do is right on cue.
To serve you.
7-6 is the score as the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons, after faltering last week on the road, are currently down by 1 point. Avi Sharma as well as Willie Jackson, Cam Molina with you. Score currently 7-6 as the Tigers lead. And they were able to stab first following a Jones 1-yard touchdown run. Brandis Evans responded with a 33-yard run of his own as we are now in the second quarter of action. Jones will line up under center. Quick turnaround. He'll keep it himself. He's past the 35 and skates to the 25-yard line. And that's enough for a first down to move the chains.
That's the first time we've seen the triple option out of the Fort Scott Tigers. It's normally Fuel just taking the football and doing his thing, but we've seen the athleticism of Jesse Jones taking it this time, as now they got the first down and they're rolling, Cam.
Jones now 34 yards rushing on the season, and he's over 10 carries. He'll line up under center again. Ace wide receiver towards the near side of the field is Gunnar Brown. Turning around, handing off to Fuel will be Jones. Fuel tries to bounce toward the outside, but he is quickly speared. The football comes loose. However, the play is called dead at the 30 after a loss of maybe 3 to 4 on the play. And Fuel was stitched up in the backfield. He had nowhere to go.
Cam, and I tell you, I think that ball might have been free before Fuel went down. As they went with initial contact there, it blew the whistle. And so now Fort Scott kind of dodging a bullet there as they will continue with the football as it's a second down. And that's the first time we actually seen Fuel tackle behind the line.
Fuel makes the position for the Tigers even more difficult. It's a second down and 14 with under 11:10 remaining in the first half of play. Jones will line up under center. Would split back to the right side is Lawrence. Near side of the field receiver is Gunnar Brown. Lob tossed up in the air and it's intercepted by Jarek Butcher. Butcher trying to wiggle out of one tackle, but he's shored up at the 30, and I think the football maybe came loose at the end of the play. Butcher comes up with his second interception on the year, 6th for the Purple Dragons, and a flag came in late from the near side.
Cam, Jarek Butcher is nothing but a ball hawk as he's been all over the football in tackles and now a huge interception. I believe this is going to be an unsportsmanlike against Fort Scott, so we're seeing a lot of chippiness here.
3 unsportsmanlike calls if this happens to stand in favor of Avi Sharma's eyesight. But in total, the Tigers as well as the Purple Dragons detrimental to themselves as the anecdote goes, shooting themselves in the foot. It will be unnecessary roughness. It was a dead ball as Butcher went down. And now, hold on 1 second. The official pointed his hands towards the Purple Dragons, so the football will be taken back. Originally, he pointed towards the Tigers and then corrected himself. So the Purple Dragons will start their drive following the interception of Jones by Jarek Butcher from their own 15.
And Coach Nicholson wanted to know who that was on. Not sure if I was able to see which Dragon that was on, but regardless, it's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Dragons.
10:56 remaining in the first half. Curtis and company down 1 point. Curtis comes down to shotgun formation with a 2 wide receiver set. Official stops the clock and now commences it. Jelani Long to the left of Curtis. Evans to the right of Curtis. Near side receiver is Dylan White, who has over 200 yards receiving on the season. Curtis lobs it over the middle, and the ball just drapes outside of the hands of his intended target, and Peyton Steele. That was Steele's first target of the year.
It's a good pass by Chase Curtis, just a little too high as it's a 2nd and 10 for the Dragons, and that penalty, instead of getting the ball about the 30, 35-yard line, the Purple Dragons will be at the 15 on this 2nd and 10.
Ball spotted on the left hash mark for the Purple Dragons, who are congregated at their own 5. Curtis dismisses the huddle. He has deuces towards the far side of the field. He'll line up under center, offset backs with Long as the deep back. Curtis hands it off to Evans on a delay handoff. He's shored up by 2 Tigers and flopped down at the 25-yard line, maybe a gain of 10, and it's near the first down marker. Not exactly at, but near.
Evans is just a truck as he wanted to keep going, as it's now a 3rd and inches for the Dragons.
3rd down and inches to go with 10:27 remaining in the first half of action. 7-6 is the score. The Purple Dragons trail by 1. The Adidas uniforms for the Purple Dragons rolling with the away white uniforms embellished with a purple. 2 wide receivers towards the near side of the field. Curtis hands off to Evans. He has a first down, and now he tries to shuck off 1 defender, but a flag is down at the 25-yard line. The offensive line, including Daniel Eichenberger, down at the 25, wanting an answer.
And I think the answer is going to be a holding against the Dragons.
And Noah chop block against the Purple Dragons. That is the second chop block we've seen in this contest.
Another huge call there, so to negate the first down for the Dragons, they have to earn this one even more. As it's going to be about a third and 11 PHS.
So here's the fourth play of the drive. It would have been a 1st and 10 with under 10 to go, but now it is 3rd and 11 for the Purple Dragons. Curtis and company come out of 3 wide receivers set. Dylan White, 1v1 towards the near side of the field. Curtis delivers a strike over the middle, a beautiful frozen rope into the midst of Ty Cicero, who waves his left hand up, which has a glove on it, and it rallies the Purple Dragons fan base.
Cam, that just looked like a straight 4 verts as every man just went right down the field, and Chase Curtis saw the one-on-one matchup. His big old tight end / receiver getting the first down, and so now move the chains, and the clock is continuing to wind.
21-yard pickup, 10 more than the Purple Dragons actually needed. Strong right eye formation. Curtis, quick pitch to the outside. Here's Jelani Long as he treks forward, sledging past the 35-yard line. Ball comes loose at the end of the play. No signals from the officials yet, but it looks like the play was dead after a 1-yard pickup by Long.
Nothing doing there as the toss play's been nothing but dominant for Fort Scott, but nothing working for the Dragons as now it's a 2nd and 10. And I believe that was PHS coming up with the ball if they called it dead. But regardless, we're about 9 minutes left here in this second quarter.
Curtis has already fumbled the football once in this contest. He now has 5 turnovers on the season. 9 touchdowns total on the year, looking to make it double-digit after this contest. Curtis lines up, delivers a strike, deep far boundary, and it's caught by Dylan White at the 30. He'll showboat his way into the end zone, turns around and backpedals in front of a homecoming crowd for the Tigers. A beautiful 65-yard dime, and Chase Curtis marvels the away crowd.
What a beautiful job by PHS, and I'll tell you what though, Curtis or Dylan White not supposed to do that as he's backing up his way in. Luckily did not get a penalty, but regardless, the Purple Dragons on the board again, and we'll see if they go for 2, and that's exactly what Chase Curtis and company's gonna do here to make it a potentially 14-7 game.
4 touchdowns for Dylan White. That's his longest touchdown reception on the year. It was originally 61 yards last week, now 65. 12-7 is the score with 8:45 remaining in the first half. A substitution is made as Dylan Jordan enters the contest for Drew Rolfs. Jordan sat down on the sideline because of the unsportsmanlike conduct that was called on him, and now a timeout is used. The play clock was at 4, and Coach Tom Nicholson was trying to make a platoon swap and some personnel changes, and ultimately it affects his club. 8:45 remaining in the first half of action. 12-7 is the score. The Purple Dragons currently lead it on the road against an undefeated Tigers club, and Avi, so far this season, Chase Curtis's favorite target, Dylan White, now over 290 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns.
Well, when Dylan White gets the football, Cam, where is he at? He's about 20 yards down the field on the typical go route, as those two are the 1-2 punch when it comes to that, and just a beautiful throw by Chase Curtis. We've said that time and time again over the weeks on how great of an arm this kid has, and Dylan White with the speed, just playing, he'll play any corner one-on-one, he'll win that matchup. But key thing there, Cameron, that whole celebration right there caused this timeout because it was confusion as they were yelling at White, and then they had to get a substitution in, and so they had to burn a timeout on a 2-point conversion.
Avi, a deep threat was a big concern for this Purple Dragon team following the departure of ex-senior and Elijah Harris, who is now playing on the Pittsburg State football team, but Dylan White seems to be the answer.
Yeah, it looks like obviously they want Elijah Harris back, but it looks like they don't need him because Dylan White is basically the Elijah White, or the Elijah.
Curtis hikes up his left leg. He brings in motion Dylan Jordan. Delayed handoff to Jelani Long, and Long is wrapped up in the backfield, snared at the 5-yard line. There was nowhere for him to go. Trayton Wilson, the junior, on the stop. So 7-12 will be the score. So 2 separate touchdown drives that are impeded by either a PAT that was blocked and a false start, but in addition, a 2-point conversion that failed. A 5-point lead for the Purple Dragons. Chase Curtis with that coveted 10th touchdown on the season, 5th through the air. ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters, will return in 30 seconds. More action from Fort Scott, Kansas after this.
At Lindbergh Pharmacy, we care about your health. From a qualified and caring staff to services like our Time My Meds and MedPack programs, Lindbergh Pharmacy provides personalized service you can count on. Refill prescriptions online at lindberghpharmacy.com or on your smartphone with our free Lindbergh Pharmacy mobile app. You can also sign up for our text alert program and we'll text or email you when your prescription is ready. Can't make it to us? We'll deliver your medications right to your door. Lindbergh Pharmacy, now 2 locations to serve you.
And we welcome you back to ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters. Avi Sharma, Cam Molina with you with Willie Jackson back at our KSHQ studios. 12-7 is the score as Nathan Neef for the Purple Dragons setting to kick it away. Dragons lead by 5 currently. It was a 6-play, 2-minute, 11-second drive that went 85 yards for the touchdown. Ball is scooped up from about the 10-yard line, returning it for a minimal gain across the 15 to the 19-yard line is Alec Machon.
All right, so out comes this Fort Scott offense, who we've seen do a great job of getting the ground game going. However, Cameron, we've mentioned this, penalties are killing both sides, and if the Tigers want to get back on the board, they're going to have to clean it up, if you will. They're going to need to play a good offensive drive to get this lead back.
Jones threw an interception last time out to the waiting arms of Jarek Butcher. Butcher on the season, 2 interceptions, and he has been the impact player for this Dragons defense throughout the season. 8:40 remaining in the first half of action. 12-7 is the score. Jones will line up under center. Deuce receivers, 1 towards each side. Jones, bootleg, rolls outside the pocket, delivers a quick throw towards the near sideline at the 20-yard line and forced out of bounds. But a flag comes in late and swung out of bounds was Shoemaker, the tight end. The initial tackle was made by, I believe, Jelani Long. Shoemaker didn't look like he stepped out of bounds. There was no whistle. And then Jarek Butcher came in to lay down the hammer, but Shoemaker still stayed on his feet. And now will be unnecessary roughness against the Purple Dragons. And this is just insane. Flags are flying without remorse from these officials.
Yeah, and Cam, I think that was a little bit of a rough call to make there, as the whistle was blown a little too early as Shoemaker was trying to stay in bounds. And that's just a momentum linebacker coming at you. He can't stop on the dot, as he actually slowed up as much as he could and just ran into Shoemaker, which is regardless of 15-yard penalty.
The officials making the decision. What they saw in their eyes was a call that was exhibit excessive force, if you will. So the score 12-7 following the Jarek Butcher penalty. The ball, a spot on the right hash mark, near side of the field for the Tigers. And the Purple Dragons will retreat towards their sideline. And Tom Nicholson is out on the field talking with the head official. The Whitecap official dismissing Nicholson. Nicholson, who is irate, pointing towards the far side of the field at the line judge, or the sideline judge. And now a timeout is called by Pittsburg High School. The Dragons fan section on their feet in a bizarre sequence right now, Avi, as there is some discord between the coaches and the officials, and even the officials themselves seem to be slightly confused.
Yeah, that was an interesting sequence there. As I'll tell you this, though, Coach Tom Nicholson was not happy with that call, as he is still out on the field wanting an explanation on what the heck happened. As interesting sequence of events here, Cameron. But regardless, it's going to be Fort Scott football when they break their huddles. And now, again, I just don't know. I think it was an early whistle, and that's what led to the penalty.
Well, we'll hit the reset button. 8:33 remaining in the first half of action. 12-7 is the score. If you're just joining us on the dial at ESPN 100.7 or on our YouTube web stream alongside Avi Sharma with the terrific Willie Jackson back at our KSHQ studio, I'm Cam Molina. Pittsburg High School surprisingly did not start off the contest with the initial score. It was the Fort Scott Tigers who scored from 1 yard away following a Jesse Jones 1 yard touchdown run. The Purple Dragons would respond with a Brandis Evans 33-yard touchdown rumbling up the middle of the field. And then the Purple Dragons would strike again deep to Dylan White from 65 yards away. White with 4 touchdowns on the year. Curtis now with 10 total touchdowns. First down and 10 from their own 34-yard line. Right hash mark, I formation. Jones turns around. It's a reverse. Handoff is to Brown. Brown evades one defender. He's at the 40. Slips past another. He's at the 45, the 50. Makes it past the 45 into his Purple Dragon territory. Stiff arms, rolls. He has some space down the far sideline. One man to beat us. Ty Cicero extends his arm and he's in for a touchdown. The Fort Scott Tigers score from 66 yards away, and the slippery Gunnar Brown, my goodness, how dexterous is he, able to escape about 6 Purple Dragons on the run.
And what a play. What a series of events we have been seeing. That was just a phenomenal reverse play right there. And I tell you, Jarek Butcher had 3 attempts to make a tackle there, and it was unsuccessful all 3 times. Just a crazy sequence as the Tigers now have the lead.
Brown with the stop and go left and right to make that play. Colvin awaits the snap. Kick in the hands of the holder, and the kick is no good as it went wide left. It didn't look like the ball was abated by any means. I think Colvin just felt the pressure from both sides, and the kick was no good. 13-12 is the score as the fireworks are being shot off towards the left end zone. Purple Dragons again trail by 1 point. 13-12 is the score. We will step aside for 30 seconds to bring you back more action from Fort Scott, Kansas, at the Dragons trail by 1 on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
Paynes Incorporated in Frontenac is the driveline specialist. Paynes handles all driveline repairs for cars, trucks, 4-wheel drive vehicles, and farm equipment. Paynes can also handle any general machine work and offers 24-hour record service. Call Paynes anytime, 231-3170. Paynes Incorporated is located at the intersection of West McKay and Highway 69 Frontenac Junction. Paynes Incorporated in Frontenac is the driveline specialist.
Back to Dragon football.
How about a 66-yard touchdown run during homecoming? Gunnar Brown had cheers raining down upon him like confetti at a Super Bowl, and Colvin is set to kick it away as his club leads by 1, returning the football from inside of his 15-yard line as Corbin Jefferson, he streaks towards the far side of the field, makes one hard cut as he swivels. He's past the 35 to the 40-yard line and notched out of bounds at the 42-yard line of the Purple Dragons. So excellent field position for the Dragons to start. But Avi, a chronic issue, the ground game, defending against it, more particularly for this Purple Dragon team.
Yeah, the Dragons have not found too much success as Brandis Evans is the guy that's got the big gain for them so far. But other than that, you haven't seen too much. And last time the Purple Dragons had the football, it was the old long ball to Dylan White. 8:08 on the clock here. We'll see what the Dragons want to do.
From their own 41-yard line with 8 minutes remaining in the first half of action. Chase Curtis, shotgun formation. Jelani Long comes in motion. A swing pass that ball's incomplete. Whistle not blown, so it was a live ball. And the football's picked up at the 36-yard line. A loss of 5 on the play. And the Purple Dragons' execution and discipline when it comes to both penalties and offensive plays, just not there early on, Avi.
Yeah, and as the referees are now discussing if that was a forward pass, Cameron, so we are now, as it was a backwards pass, so now they will rule it back as a 5-yard, as you were saying, so now it's a 2nd and 15. But yes, Cameron, these Dragons are struggling to find something, and now we have an official timeout as they want to group up and discuss this, and it's exactly what they're going to do.
So a congregation at the pigskin on the 36-yard line of the Purple Dragons, and it looks like it's short-lived. The side judge towards the Fort Scott bench makes his way over to the white cap official. He dismisses him. Coach Tom Nicholson is pouncing on the sideline, waiting for an explanation. Now he's leaned over, hands on his knees, and he makes his way out onto the field. He just wants an explanation, and now I think the officials are just going to call the play dead.
Yep. That's exactly what it looks like it's going to be. It's going to be a 2nd and 10. So it was an incomplete forward pass by Chase Curtis. And so clock will be stopped. and it will be a 2nd and 10 at the 36-yard line.
So
or 41-yard line, excuse me.
So I guess a challenge of sorts, if you will. 2nd and 10, 7:56 remaining in the first half of action. 3 wide receivers set. Slot receiver for the Purple Dragons is Zachary Sutton. Dylan Jordan comes in motion from left to right. Jordan waiting for his blocks on a jet sweep. He has one stiff arm, tries to leap over one defender. He's stopped at the 40 and dragged all the way back to the 39-yard line for a loss of 2.
Nothing doing on that jet sweep there as they're looking for their blocks and they couldn't get it. And so now it's going to be a 3rd down for PHS. And again, we're seeing a little bit of confusion with the players and the referees now. Has a lot of frustration going on right now, so not sure what the deal is, Cam, but a lot of unhappy campers.
Curtis breaks his team out of the huddle, and he has a 3 wide receiver set. Dylan White one-on-one, safety held 2 deep. White now one-on-one, the safety making his way towards the inside of the field. Curtis takes a shot towards White, and it's complete again as he trolleys inside of the 25 and down at the 24-yard line. You can't guard this man one-on-one.
When the going gets tough, you just run the fade route to Dylan White, and boy has it been successful. Dylan White again with a huge play. 1st down for PHS, and they're knocking on the door.
A 37-yard game between Curtis to White. And again, Coach Bob Campbell on the sideline told his safety to realign towards the center of the field. Nick Lawrence checked towards the sideline saying, "Are you serious?" And Campbell and company ultimately the losers of that play. And now flags come in towards the backside as the handoff was to Brandis Evans. And it looks like it will be potentially on the Tigers who are moving backwards.
I think it's going to be a false start on PHS. Offside, you were correct, Cameron.
So more of an encroachment on the Tigers. That's a 5-yard penalty, which puts the football across the 20 to the 19-yard line of the Tigers for the Purple Dragons. The ball is spotted on the left hash mark with under 7 minutes remaining in the first half. 13-12 at the score as the Tigers lead by 1, and a back-and-forth affair during homecoming for this Fort Scott Tigers team. Cheerleaders with their red and white pom-poms wave them into the night sky. The homecoming crowd for the Tigers waiting anxiously on this 1st down and 5. Far side receivers is Landon Conrad for the Purple Dragons. Twins far side, delayed handoff. Jelani Long wrapped up in the backfield. He's picked up, tries to swivel out of one tackle. Late hits, no one's letting go. And a flag looks like it comes in late from the backside again. Officials are not having any extracurricular activities take place in this game. Bollinger was there on the stop.
And again, interesting to see what they're going to call. And it's going to be a dead ball, unsportsmanlike, a hit to the head. Looks like against Pittsburgh.
So instead of it going on the Tigers, it will go on Pittsburgh. And the Purple Dragons lapse in thought. So they will move back from their 19, or excuse me, from the Tigers 19 all the way to the Tigers 35. Excuse me, no, 38.
And penalties galore, Cameron, as now the Dragons are at the 38-yard line. And they got themselves a long ways to go if they want to get this 1st down.
Well, what was a 1st down and 5 is now a 1st down and 24. 3 wide receiver set, shotgun formation for Curtis. He hikes up his right leg. Flags come in again, and a false start on the Purple Dragons. My goodness.
Another penalty. Are you keeping track at this point now?
I'm trying to.
This is just getting out of hand. So now 1st and 29 for the Dragons. This might be motivation for Fort Scott as they got to be loving this. But Cameron, number 4 is on the field for PHS.
Well, I would imagine Coach Campbell, after making the correction to Lawrence's safety to say, hey, go in the middle of the field and don't cover on White, may now elect to do that. White, near side receiver towards the Tigers bench. 3 wide receiver set, hiking up his left leg is Curtis. Curtis takes towards the left side, and another flag comes in. Another false start by the Purple Dragons. It is a 1st and 34.
Cam, I haven't seen something like this. This is frustrating for both teams. This is frustrating for the officials. And I got to tell you, Cam, I actually just saw the senior of number 75, Colby Page, for Fort Scott, who went down earlier, just head to the locker room. So good to see that he's doing things on his own power.
Chase Curtis back out onto the field with under 6 minutes remaining in the first half of action. 13-12 the score. The Tigers were trying to hold the Dragons potentially a field goal as the ball was inside their 20. Now it's a 1st and 34 following 3 consecutive gaffes by this Pittsburg High School team. Hand off to Jelani Long. The ball is tucked into the tummy of the senior. He maybe escapes one tackle to the 45-yard line. A pickup of 3 yards.
Well, glad we finally saw a play without a penalty there. Man, it's just chaos as it's a 2nd and long. And Cameron, if they want a first down, they got to get to the 19-yard line, and they are at the 46.
So Curtis back into his huddle. 5:15 remaining in the first half of action. Dylan White will align himself towards the far side of the field. He's isolated one-on-one. He's going against Gunnar Brown, who's now dropping back to play man coverage, but he's way deep. Delayed handoff is kept by Chase Curtis. Curtis wheels towards the far side of the field. He's past the 40 and maybe sneaks to the 39, but the official will say he stepped out of bounds at the 41 for a pickup of 5.
Oh, there's something out of nothing for PHS here. It's still a 3rd and a very, very long ways to go, as you will probably see a pass play here, see if they can pick up a lot of these yards back.
Well, Nathan Neef, his longest field goal on the season, 39 yards, with the Purple Dragons would have to probably get past the first down marker or near the first down marker in order for an attempt like that to be in his range. 3 wide receivers set, deuces towards the near side of the field. Curtis hikes up his left leg, awaits the snap. He looks, steps up in the pocket, tucks it, tackled, spins out of 1 tackle at the 40, and he's swamped at the 39-yard line. Waving his hands up into the air to pump up the homecoming crowd was Mason Couch, the junior.
And it's just continuing to get worse for PHS. There's nothing doing. They're going to have to punt this thing away to a Fort Scott team who's feeling nothing but momentum. They get the ball with about 4 minutes left on the clock. And Cameron, they have 2 timeouts, so they can do something here.
4:20 remaining in the first half of action. 13-12 is the score. The Purple Dragons trail by 1. Chase Curtis back at the Tigers' 49-yard line. Back to return is Gunnar Brown for Fort Scott. Curtis sends this kick high, spiraling into the night sky. It takes a hop at the 2. Beautiful backspin that's picked up at the 5-yard line. And a sliding grab by Reese Willis will place the football at least inside the 10-yard line of the Tigers. So the Purple Dragons forcing Fort Scott to make a long trek if they want any shot at a score before intermission.
And it looks like Reese is actually down, Cameron, as I don't know, he slowed up way. He looks like he awkwardly landed on that foot when he tried slowing down, and so it might either be a cramp or something worse.
And this is currently speculation, but it looks like the trainers are just rubbing out his calf as he immediately attended to his high calf / hamstring. And we'll go ahead and step aside for 30 seconds. Score 13-12. Purple Dragons trail by 1. You're listening to the home of Purple Dragon Athletics, ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters. Back at 30.
When you get engaged and need to pay for the wedding, when you have a baby and need to start that college savings account, it seems like the best moments in life can come with some real financial challenges. What's yours? At Commerce Bank, we find solutions so you can focus on enjoying life. Visit us online at commercebank.com or at a branch near you. Commerce Bank, challenge accepted. Member FDIC.
Now back to Dragon football.
4:04 remaining in the first half of action. 13-12 is the score. The Tigers lead by 1. Avi Sharma with Willie Jackson back at our studios. I'm Cam Molina. Make sure to stick around for the SEK Urgent Care Halftime Report, where we will go over first half stats as well as analysis of the first half, including a look forward to the second half of play and a preview for Pittsburg State football. And it looks like, as you said, Reese Willis is being escorted off the field. He doesn't seem to be in too much pain as he's walking off under his own power. And I think it's just cramps. A very human night, not just in Fort Scott, Kansas, but Kansas in general.
Yeah, and Cam, one thing I want to mention is right before we went to break is that the running back for Fort Scott, Fuel, actually ran over there to him and made sure he was okay. So even though there's a lot of chippiness going on, it's still always good to see some sportsmanship.
And Fuel I have to say, what I've seen from that young man is nothing but a bright future for him. One, with his play, but just his attitude. What a great young man.
Can you run like he can, Cam?
I wouldn't even try to. I wouldn't even try to. Jones lines up under center. Strong left formation. Quick turnaround. Handoff is to Field, but he's smothered just past the 5 to the 7-yard line. A pickup of 1.
So this will be interesting to see what Fort Scott wants to do with it. As they started the drive on the 6-yard line, we have 3 minutes and 50 seconds and counting now. So we'll see if they want to attempt to maybe air this thing out or just play it safe and maybe give Pittsburgh another shot at this thing.
3:40 remaining in the first half of play. 13-12 is the score. Ball located nearest the left hash mark on the 7-yard line of the Tigers, following a beauty of a punt from Chase Curtis. Deep back is Fuel. Fullback is Lawrence. One wide receiver towards the near side of the field. Rolling left will be Jones. He pitches it. Ball's loose. And recovering will be Fuel near the 1-yard line. The official, who is located towards the near side of the field, the side official, is saying the ball's recovered at the half-yard line. His right foot is on the 1, but he pointed towards his left foot at the half-yard line. The tip of the pigskin is at the 1. The base of the pigskin, again, is about that half-yard range. It will be a 3rd down and long to go with under 3 minutes remaining, and a big gaffe there by Jones, who had a bolting Fuel running near him. The pitch outside would have resulted in probably a 1st down and more.
Well, no question, Cam. They're going to have to ground and pound this thing because they are in deep territory.
3rd and 15. Handoff up the middle and trudging forward for maybe a gain of 5 to 6 yards is Lawrence. It will still be a 4th down and long.
Well, Fort Scott got away from a scary situation as now they have to punt this thing away. Regardless, though, Pittsburgh dodging a bullet here. They're going to get the football back, and they got 2 minutes left on this clock, and they'll have one timeout to get something done.
4th down and 8, 2:10 remaining in the first half. 13-12 is the score. The Tigers lead by 1 point. The Purple Dragons have Joel Kapka back at the Tigers' 42-yard line. He's trudging back even further near the 45. Back to punt for the Tigers. Mashawn, and an awkward kick that rotates in the air. It takes a hop at the 38-yard line, picked up at the 46-yard line of the Tigers, and Kafka's pushed out at the 35-yard line. So a return of about 11 yards for Joel Kafka, which gives the Purple Dragons decent field position. And with one timeout, Avi, this Dragons team can take the lead heading into intermission.
Well, that's exactly what PHS wants. I think they're hoping, Cam, that they don't have the drive that they had last time, as they had a 1st and 34. I bet you they don't want to see that again, as PHS wants to do anything they can to have this lead after the first half.
1:45 remaining in the half. Shotgun formation. Conrad, near side receiver. Curtis from the shotgun. Quickly throws it to Brandis Evans on a screen to the slip screen. Sniffed out. An excellent tackle made at the 38-yard line by Mashawn.
And we've seen this backdoor screen play by PHS many times. Nothing doing is now. Here we go. PHS is on the ball, Cam.
A loss of 5 yards. 1:24 remaining in the first half. Ty Cicero puts his hands up, and now he motions over from right to left. Coach Nicholson not pleased. He takes off his headset, rolls his head. He wanted Chase Curtis to line up his crew. However, the senior quarterback could not get his guys down to the line of scrimmage. There was plenty of time on the play clock. And Curtis, with his knowledge, he's a pretty cerebral guy, very smart. So maybe just give him a couple more seconds, but Coach Nicholson saw something different.
Yeah, and it looked like the Dragons didn't know how to line up right there, and that's their last timeout. I mean, that's a huge timeout now, Cam. So a minute 20, they're about the 40-yard line on the dot. So PHS is going to have to get things going, as in high school. If you get the 1st down, the clock stops until the chain gang gets up to the line of scrimmage.
And well, a bountiful crowd for this Tigers fan base, as they've all showed up in their red, black, and white attire. The band ready for their halftime performance. Tuba players with tuba covers that are decked out in white with the Tiger logo square in the middle. The drummers making their way into the concession of individuals as well, and the cheerleaders ready to wave their pom-poms. With 1:20 remaining in the first half of action, the Purple Dragons spotted on the Tigers' 40-yard line, left hash mark. Curtis will break the huddle with a 2nd down and 15 to go. Trips towards the far side of the field, spread. Near side is Dylan White. Curtis immediately rolls right, looks deep. He steps up in the pocket, delivers a strike, and it's caught at the 28-yard line by Landon Conrad, who just ran maybe a 10-yard in an out route or a deep curl. It's enough for the first down and to move the change. Or, excuse me, no, not enough to move the change. The ball's at the 29-yard line, but it's enough to make it a third down and medium situation. Curtis shotgun again. Trips bunch, he'll roll right, looks deep, lobs it, and it's caught. A beautiful catapulting throw to Conrad again as he squeaks out of bounds inside the 15 to the 13, a pickup of 16 yards on the play.
Little slow snap there by Dalton Gromer to Curtis on these rollout shotgun plays as Curtis wants to get going. And so the ball will get out of bounds there about the 14-yard line, 53.3 on the clock. Again, no timeouts here, Cam.
A 15-yard gain, no timeouts left. Conrad did a good job of keeping his feet in bounds and then stepping out to stop the clock. 53 ticks remaining in the first half. Trips near side of the field. Curtis feels the blitz coming. He steps up, and the play is blown dead by a flag. Finger pointing left and right by both sides now. And it will be on the Purple Dragons as again they commit a flub, and flags have been the mortal enemy of this Purple Dragon team in the first half.
Well, I thought we were going to be penalty-free for the last minute or so, but it didn't turn out that way. It was an illegal motion by PHS, and so now 1st and 15 for them.
Conrad nearest receiver towards the Fort Scott bench on the left side. Whitecap official now making his way over towards the Tigers bench. Coach Campbell takes off his headset just momentarily, and he's pointing towards the press box. It's 52 seconds remaining. I think they want to reset the clock to 53.3, which was at prior to the flag being thrown. Just benefiting Pittsburgh slightly, but hey, 1 second's 1 second.
Absolutely. It can help you out no matter what, as they got that on the clock there, so it looks like we are ready to go.
Curtis and company from the Tigers' 19-yard line. Shotgun formation, 4 wide receiver set. Curtis, low snap, looks, quickly delivers the throw, and nearly a one-handed grab by Dylan White, who contoured his body mid-air and nearly wrangled the football in. It would have been a highlight reel catch had he hung on.
And I tell you, Cam, Curtis got pressured right there, and so that's what made the quick throw behind White. As you see, White a little upset with that one as he is over there lined up already. He knows the play call, so he's ready to go. So 10 guys in the huddle. And here comes PHS on a huge second down.
2nd and 15, 50 ticks remaining in the first half. White one-on-one, lobbing up, fade route. White tries to reach for the football. Good coverage by Gunnar Brown one-on-one, and Brown, who broke off a 66-yard rushing touchdown, able to maneuver his way past several Purple Dragons defender on the end around, was there on coverage.
So now this brings up a 3rd and 15 for PHS, and you know, you got to think here. They want to get at least something across the middle to get themselves plenty of yards, at least to get to about the 10-yard line if they can, Cam. So we'll see if they either go for it on 4th down or attempt a field goal.
Nathan Neef, this is just about his range if he decides to kick it. So either you throw it out away if you're Chase Curtis, complete the pass out of bounds, or score the touchdown. Corbin Jefferson in on the action. He's to the left of Curtis. Curtis looks deep from the shotgun formation, rolls left, keeps the play alive, delivers a throw. It's caught by Zachary Sutton. He's down inside the 5 at the 4-yard line, a pickup of 15.
So it's going to be a first down. You already know they're going to get on the ball and spike this thing because they'll have time to run a couple plays before even attempting a field goal. And actually, they're going to take their time on this one. They're actually going to run a play, Cam.
Well, 36 seconds left in the first half. The clock stops. Coach Campbell barking at the officials as well as his players to get organized. And the high school level, you at least have time to get down to the football. It will be shotgun formation, 4 wide receivers set. Now a timeout is called by Coach Campbell. 36.5 seconds remaining in the first half of action, and a 1-point lead for the Tigers. Will keep it here. Hey, make sure to check out the SEK Urgent Care halftime report, where we will bring you first half analysis as well as first half stats, and a look forward to the second half of play. Special thanks goes out to Willie Jackson back in our studio. He has done a terrific job board hopping for his first time tonight. 13-12 the score. The Tigers started off the contest with a touchdown. It was Jones from 1 yard away. His 3rd touchdown on the year. And then Pittsburg High School responded with a 33-yard bowling touchdown by Brandis Evans. The Purple Dragons would respond yet again with a Dylan White 65-yard touchdown pitch and catch between the junior receiver and the senior quarterback. At that point, 2 missed extra point opportunities, so that's what resulted in the 12 points on the scoreboard. And then it was Gunnar Brown who escaped the pressure and hands of several very aggressive Purple Dragons defenders as he maneuvered his way into the end zone for 66 yards, and that's where we stand with 36 seconds left in the first half. It's 1st and goal from the 4-yard line, ball on the left hash mark of the Tigers' side of the field. Chase Curtis lines up with his crew, maybe 2 shots, 3 at the most of the end zone, and then a field goal attempt will have to be taken. I doubt there will be any running here unless Coach Nicholson is absolutely positive it will go for 6. Jefferson to the left of Curtis. Pressure comes, delivers this quick slant pass to Dylan White. He's into the end zone for a touchdown. A beautiful throw by Chase Curtis as Dylan White read the defense, and currently barking at his cornerback right now is Bollinger. He's yelling at Tyler Gorman, his junior cornerback counterpart in the secondary. Bollinger was yelling at him, saying, "Why did you play so far off?" All Dylan White had to do was, as soon as the ball was snapped, look in, run, and caught the football. It's a 4-yard pitch and catch for 6 points, 18-13 to score now. Nathan Neef awaiting the kick. Snap, kick is up, and it is good. Score now 19-13 as Nathan Neef was able to can it. And a 6-point lead for the Purple Dragons with 34 seconds remaining in the first half of action. Dylan White, 2 touchdowns in the ballgame, 5 total on the season, and now over 300 yards receiving on the year. We'll step aside here on ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters, for 30 seconds to bring you back to the remainder of the first half of play.
Now back to Dragon football.
If you want to improve your basketball skill set, you need to attend one of the Lane Lord basketball camps. Each camper receives individual attention and specific coaching adapted to age and skill level. There's something for everyone. A grade school camp for girls entering 3rd through 8th grade, a high school team camp available on 2 different weekends with both varsity and JV levels of competition, plus satellite camps throughout the summer. All campers receive instruction from head coach Lane Lord, head assistant Amanda David, along with former and current players.
And we welcome you back out to Fort Scott, Kansas, alongside Avi Sharma. I'm Cam Molina. Dylan White, he may as well just popped open a book. It was just way too easy for him to pick up another touchdown in this contest. He and Chase Curtis on the same wavelength from 4 yards away. 19-13 is the score with 34 seconds remaining in the first half. Purple Dragons lead it. Fuel takes it from his own 4-yard line. He makes a beeline towards the near side of the field, delivers a stiff arm right into the belly of one Purple Dragon returner, and Brandis Evans. With 27 seconds remaining in the first half of action, the Tigers, who have 1 timeout left, have a chance to lob it deep or maybe just run out the clock.
And I think they might run out the clock here. Probably nothing. You might see one surprising play, see if they can get some positive yards. If they don't, you'll probably call it a half for Coach Bob Campbell and this Fort Scott Tigers team.
Purple Dragons defense has held up well, only allowing 13 first half points. They allowed 21 last week. Jones lines up under center, 1 wide receiver towards the far side of the field. Campbell, the far side receiver, hand off to Fuel. He takes 1 cut to the outside, tries to deliver a spin move, but he's wrapped up at the 30-yard line, a pickup of 6 yards. Coach Campbell doesn't look like he's about to stop the clock.
Looks exactly what it's going to look like. It's going to be halftime here for both teams. And Cam, I got to tell you, even though they're losing in this game, that was a win for Fort Scott in that first half.
It really was. And when you look at how the scoring drives went, the Tigers executed their game plan very well, Avi. They drained a lot of the clock, did not give Pittsburg High School a lot of opportunities. But Chase Curtis, Dylan White hooking up for so many attempts, the secondary is really going to have to ratchet up their level of game heading into the second half of action. 19-13 at the break. The Purple Dragons relying on the big arm cannon of Chase Curtis, as well as junior wide receiver Dylan White, who now has 5 touchdowns on the season. We will bring you back the SEK Urgent Care halftime report following a 2-minute commercial break. Your home for Pittsburg High School Athletics, ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters.
What's the buzz around Community National Bank and Trust? They're talking mobile banking, instant issue debit cards, rewards checking and credit cards, and let's not forget e-power checking, paying better than CD-like rates on a checking account, plus nationwide ATM fee refunds. Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Headquartered in Richmond, Kansas, QSI Quality Structures Incorporated specializes in designing and building complete post-frame buildings. We provide structures built to withstand a 30-pound ground snow load and a 90-mile-per-hour wind shear built to the most stringent codes. Whether you need a garage, agricultural building, commercial facility, or custom-built design, we're your one-stop shop for post-frame buildings. QSI. Everything we do is right on cue.
It's a feeling you get the moment you step on campus.
It's the knowledge that you've become part of something more.
We're a family of crimson and gold.
Every day we challenge ourselves to achieve more.
The reason why we're here is to make a difference.
Everybody wants to stand out.
Without standing apart.
You belong.
At Pittsburg State University.
And we welcome you back to Fort Scott, Kansas. Current score 19-13. Purple Dragons lead by 6 points with 12:42 remaining before the third quarter of action commences. We welcome you back to ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters, with Willie Jackson back in the studio alongside Avi Sharma. I'm Cam Molina, and we bring you into the SEK Urgent Care halftime report. Avi, we saw a bunch of scoring in that first half of action, and ultimately Chase Curtis and Dylan White hooking up for 2 touchdowns in that first half of action, one right before the break hit. And the last touchdown right before intermission, 7 plays, 65 yards, a minute 10 off the clock, and 19-13 is the score. But when you look at this team of Pittsburg High School, the defensive line in that first quarter especially were just unable to stop the likes of Zarek Fuel. And Zarek Fuel ran all over this team, especially during the first drive. He had nearly 40 yards rushing, but it was the quarterback in Jesse Jones who was able to sneak in from 1 yard away. It was a 10-play, 70-yard touchdown drive to make it 7-0. The first offensive possession from the Purple Dragons following an errant kick by Colvin for the Tigers. The ball was taken from the 35-yard line in Dragon territory. It was a gadget play as Ty Roark hooked up with Jelani Long for 19 yards. It was capped off by a big Brandis Evans 33-yard touchdown rush. He has over 175 yards rushing on the season now and 2 touchdowns. 7-6 to score at that time as the PAT was no good. Nathan Neef was not on the first touchdown special teams unit as it was the likes of Gary Carroll who was brought out, and a flag was on the play. Pressure was coming on all sides, enveloping him. You can't really expect too much other than that. The Tigers stalled out on their second position of the contest, but then Chase Curtis and company seemed primed for a big play as Dylan Jordan committed, or rather was the recipient of a personal foul. The ball was moved to the 50-yard line at midfield. Brandis Evans burst forward for 14 yards, so it was a 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line of the Tigers, and Chase Curtis fumbled the football. Krebs recovered for the Tigers, but the Tigers were unable to capitalize on the play However, from their own 15-yard line in the early goings of the second quarter, Chase Curtis and company, a 6-play, 85-yard touchdown drive that lasted just over 2 minutes. Chase Curtis and Dylan White, potentially one of the best 1-2 tandems in the southeast Kansas area. Dylan White, 2 first-half touchdowns. His first with a 65-yard nab. And Chase Curtis with over 10 touchdowns on the season, 6 through the air, following the 2 in the first half of action. 12-7 was the score following that touchdown pitch and catch. But the Tigers would retort in a swift manner. A 25-second drive that just lasted 2 plays, an 82-yard drive that resulted initially by an unnecessary roughness call. The ball was moved 15 yards forward to the 34-yard line, and then a 66-yard sprint by Gunnar Brown, who impressed with his maneuverability in the midfield, along with traffic as well. He's very slippery, able to evade so many of the Purple Dragons defenders. The Dragons would go 3 and out on their ensuing drive. The Tigers would do so as well. With a minute 45 remaining in the first half, Chase Curtis led his guys on a 7-play, 65-yard touchdown drive that lasted just a little over a minute 10. Curtis hooked up with Dylan White from 4 yards away, and at the break, the score is 19-13. Homecoming festivities in Fort Scott, Kansas. The cheerleaders are lined up near midfield in a diamond, almost rhombus formation. The furthest cheerleader is at the 40-yard line, awaiting to be screamed at by adoring fans of both the high school and the parents. A special shout out to one lady, as this is homecoming. It's honorary to anoint a homecoming court. How about Emma Davis, the fall homecoming queen for this Fort Scott High School terrific bunch? A very amicable sight was also shown, I may add, by this very prestigious Tigers school, as Zarek Fuel came up and helped Reese Willis, who was down injured for the Purple Dragons. I think a lot of sportsmanship has been shown by this Tigers club, and a very welcoming atmosphere despite all the chippiness. And we'll get into that chippiness when we return in about 2 minutes of Fort Scott, Kansas. Score 19-13. Purple Dragons lead it at the break. 8 minutes remaining before the third quarter of action. Don't go anywhere. More Purple Dragons action here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7. And we parted the technical difficulties currently. 7:12 remaining before the third quarter of action. Avi Sharma Camelina with Willie Jackson back at our KSHQ studios. Purple Dragons lead by 6 at the break. Avi, I believe you have some scores from around the area.
A lot of scores, Camo. Let's get started here. We have Carl Junction and Carthage duking it out. CJ has the lead 35-7 at halftime. Neodesha and Erie. Neodesha is leading that one 28-0 at half. Parsons 0, Labette County 50 at halftime. Baxter Springs 35, Southeast 0 in late in the second quarter. How about Waynesville and Joplin? Joplin has the lead on that one 35-7 late in the second quarter. Fredonia 6, Cherryvale 34 at half. Mount Vernon has 34, East Newton has 0 at halftime. Columbus 16, Colgan 8 at halftime. Galena 34-0, Girard 0 at half. Circle and Field Kinley. Field Kinley has the lead on that one, 14-7 at halftime. Now get this one, Cam. McDonald County 8, Lamar 35 late in the second quarter.
Wow.
Now guess how McDonald County got their 8 points?
Pick 6 maybe, and then a 2-point conversion?
Wrong. How about a safety and a touchdown?
Wow.
Yeah, get that. Yeah.
That's an oddity.
Exactly. Anyways, Nevada and Central Springfield. Nevada 43, Central Springfield 0 at a halftime. Nixon, Webb City. Webb City's got that one 38-0 at half. And then we have Chanute, Ottawa. Chanute is trailing Ottawa by 1 point, 6-7 at halftime. Frontenac 54, Riverton 6 at the half. Independence against Linwood, 43 by Linwood. Independence 0. Monette and Cassville. Cassville has the lead at halftime, 21-0. Seneca and Aurora in a tight one, 7-0 at halftime. Northeast and Belle Plaine. Belle Plaine has the big lead, 34-0 in the second quarter. And finally, Cam, Caney Valley 14, Humboldt 0 at the half. And then let's not forget this one more time. Pittsburg 19, Fort Scott 13 at the half.
Caney Valley, how about a dominant team? Wow. Was it 13-0, I have you said?
14.
14-0 against Humboldt?
Yes.
Humboldt traditionally a pretty good club there. And that's kind of a surprise at intermission. Honestly, Humboldt, I thought they would make it just a bit more competitive. But, Avi, looking at this first half of action, I think the most glaring issue for this Purple Dragon team is the lack of discipline.
Yeah, I agree. And, it might be on both sides, to be honest with you, as they were both struggling. And it was frustrating. It was frustrating for the fans. It was frustrating for the teams, the coaches, as we've seen, obviously, and most importantly, the referees. It was a struggle bus there. But I tell you what, I hope that they're cleaning it up, because I can tell you this right now, Cam. Coach Nicholson and Coach Campbell, they're probably not happy how that first half went for both teams, and so they're probably cleaning it up inside that locker room so they can get ready to come out here and have a better second half.
We were going to segue into break with a lot of the chippiness on the field, but to bring it full circle, this Pittsburg High team, Jared Butcher, Dylan Jordan, as well as some of the Fort Scott players really digging their teeth into one another, and it's caused the officials to throw some very frivolous flags. They haven't really held on to it. They don't want this game to get out of hand. Credit the officials. There may have been some questionable calls. I think Tom Nicholson has plenty to say about that as he came barging onto the field to try to defend his players on one personal foul penalty. But the officials do a good job keeping the game contained and not letting it get out of hand. But if you're both teams, you have to refocus yourself. You have to say, okay, that was the last half. Let's move forward. Let's forget our mistakes, and we can prepare for this next half of action. When you look at this Fort Scott team offensively, the ground game doing a lot of damage, and this was the largest issue last week, Avi, for this Purple Dragon team. It was the inability to stop the ground game. The defensive front in the second quarter did a good job reorganizing and ultimately playing a lot better, but still there have been some erroneous plays.
Yeah, Cam, I got to say it was a heck of a start by this Fort Scott Tigers team, as they did a phenomenal job. They were feeling the momentum as they just went down the field that easily. And so I would say that Fort Scott is, as we mentioned right before the halftime, they won the half. Yeah, they might be losing this game, but Pittsburgh isn't playing how they normally played all season long. They're on their heels. They're shaken, they're confused, if you will. And so I would say that this Fort Scott team has done a heck of a job checking these Pittsburgh Purple Dragons.
That is all very true, Avi. Chase Curtis in that first half of action, 2 touchdowns, both through the air to Dylan White. Brandis Evans, a rushing touchdown. A 2-point conversion not completed, and a PAT off kilter. And then for the Fort Scott Tigers coming out, it was a Jones 1-yard touchdown rush, which was parlayed with a 66-yard touchdown rush by Brown. Score at intermission, 19-13. With about 1:50 remaining in the third quarter of action. Avi, why don't we go ahead and preview tomorrow, which will be a very fun day in many of the Pittsburg State University households, as it's parent day, as the Gorillas will invite the Lindenwood Lions for their homecoming matchup.
Well, it's like whatever we do, Cam, we're always together, as we're calling that game tomorrow. So family night at Carney Smith Stadium should be a great game to watch. And I tell you what, after the heck of a game by Pittsburg State last week at Northeastern State, they're feeling fired up. They're ready to go to come back home to a crowd it's going to get pretty loud up in there, as you and I both know how loud that stadium can get. But it's going to be a great matchup between the Lions and the Gorillas. I'm looking forward to it. But we got 2 more quarters of this great game before we can even make it to that one.
That's undoubtedly true, Avi, and I'm glad you bring that up. Make sure to tune in for action early tomorrow, about 2 hours prior to kickoff at 5 p.m. on ESPN 100.7, as it will be Eddie Lomchek, BJ Harris, Mike Snow, and the rest of the guys chatting with some Pittsburg State University representatives, potentially head coach Tim Beck and some other very friendly faces. And at intermission, the score 19-13. We will step aside for only 30 seconds as there's only 30 seconds remaining before the second half kickoff and bring you back the second half of action from Fort Scott, Kansas. You're listening to the home of Purple Dragon Athletics, ESPN 100.7.
If you are injured in an accident or
Crawcan Telephone Cooperative has been serving Girard in southeast Kansas for 65 years. In 1952, we helped our members connect with each other using telephone lines. Today, we connect our members with the entire world using fiber optics. While the technology has changed, our commitment to deliver it to our members has not. Check us out on the web at ckt.net.
Fred Spigarelli has received the top rating from his peers with the Martindale-Hubbell Independent Rating System. His firm has the resources to hire the experts and physicians needed to properly present your claim. The Spigarelli Law Firm has successfully If you are injured in an accident or on the job, it is
Part of the technical issues is we're having some issues back at our KSHQ studios, but don't mind that. Avi Sharma, Cam Molina with Willie Jackson back at our sports studios. Score 19-13. Clock has been reset to about 3 minutes, but both sides actually making their way toward the sideline, so we will keep it here. Avi, in the first half of action, we saw the Purple Dragons dominate through the air. Defensively, what adjustments do you see from the Tigers in the second half?
Easy. Put all 11 guys on Dylan White. I mean, that's easy. No, I'm just kidding, Cam. But for sure, you need to have that cover two over the top. You got to have some backup coverage because Dylan White has easily gone by almost every single player that has guarded him this season. And so if I would worry about that. But now me saying that is going to open something up. So we might see Jelani Long do something on the inside. We might see Brandis Evans do something on the inside. So the ground game for the Purple Dragons has not worked out so far. But don't say it's over because these Purple Dragons will bring back the ground game sooner or later.
And it seems the issue for the Purple Dragons, not so much their level of aggressiveness or assertiveness or willingness to play, it's just been tackling in the open field. That was the same issue they had last week against Durant Henderson, one of the best halfbacks in Missouri.
Yeah, and you know, that was tough for the Purple Dragons. It really was. As you saw time and again how dominant he was and how he got there. And, you know, it reminded me of how this Tiger team had, as they had no problem early in this game running the football, as they did a heck of a job by Fuel just getting going. And, Cam, they're going to ignore the 50 seconds on the clock. They're ready to go, my friend.
As they are, both sides making their way towards the sideline momentarily. The Purple Dragons now will dismiss from the huddle as Coach Tom Nicholson patting it on the helmet, and a full swaggered club for the Purple Dragons now back onto the gridiron.
I love that word.
Swagger.
Mm-hmm.
Colvin set to kick it away. He has the tee at the 40-yard line. Back to return for the Purple Dragons. It will be Corbin Jefferson, and flanking him towards the far side of the field is Ben Brenniger. Colvin set to begin the second half of action. Purple Dragons up 6. A former SEK clash now commencing once again. Jefferson from his own 18-yard line. Stutter steps Chicago stop at the 25. He's past the 30. Flags come flying from the backside at the 45-yard line.
Well, that didn't take long, Cam. One play in the third quarter, we already got some yellow laundry on the field. So just like that, looks like another penalty to start off the second half.
And not the best way to begin the third quarter of action. Coach Nicholson most likely stressing to his crew, we have to clean up the mistakes, but a flub, you would imagine, early on in this third quarter of action, but it was the backside judge, so you're wondering what the call is. You really can't see a block in the back from that angle, I believe. So it will be an unnecessary roughness on the Tigers, but then the official pointed towards Pittsburgh, so now I'm confused.
Okay, so it looks like there was a personal foul, unsportsmanlike on both teams, Cam. So therefore, the penalties will offset and it's going to be a 1st and 10 for PHS. I'm not sure what it was because that was an early flag for an unsportsmanlike conduct.
That was, and it was on the backside too, so it would have had to have been in the scrum, but it's hard to see with all of those bodies. Hawkeyes for the officials. But I didn't even see the call by the officials saying it was offset and pointing towards Pittsburg. And now both sides will separate. And now this is very interesting, as now we'll have a re-kick, it seems. Both special teams units now back out onto the field.
So therefore, both penalties offsetting. It's going to replay the kickoff. So not only are you and I confused here up in this press box, we got a bunch of fans that are confused, as it's just craziness, Cam. As we've seen it time and time again so far in this game with the penalties.
Well, I think it's more so bewilderment, because just the positioning of the officials to see something like that happening, it's hard to see. And I did not see the white cap official make the unnecessary roughness call towards Pittsburgh, so very odd. We'll have a re-kick, and now we'll restart the opening kickoff for the third quarter. Ball taken for the 15-yard line by Jefferson. He makes a beeline towards the far sideline, but he is quickly shirred up and dropped, making a beeline himself and wrapping up Corbett Jefferson in the backfield was Michon.
Well, interesting series of events. So PHS will not start way up there at about the 35 where they had last time. Now they will start at about the 17-yard line. So interesting. 12 seconds to start off this third quarter, Cam.
So the Purple Dragons will line up for their first offensive sequence of this second half of action. Zachary Sutton, near side receiver at the 15-yard line. Curtis lines up under center, but give it to Evans. Evans tries to barrel past one defender, high steps another, and he's dropped at the 20-yard line to pick up a 3 yards on the run.
Well, there we go, Cam. We just talked about it. We said, when will these Dragons get the ground game going right off the bat? Hand it off to their fullback, Brandis Evans, doing the carries, doing most of the workload the past 2 games for this Dragon team, as Evans has done a heck of a job, as he doesn't get he gets himself a couple yards there, so a little momentum to start the drive for the Dragons.
High formation for the Purple Dragons, strong right formation, Ty Cicero, the tight end, towards the far side of the offensive line. Curtis turns around, sets the ball to the belly of Jelani Long. Long breaks one tackle. He skims upfield. He has daylight. Past the 50, the 40, the 35, the 30, the 20. Trying to ski into the end zone. And he does for a Pittsburg High School touchdown. And however, there are flags down at the 30. And Corbin Jefferson was actually the halfback. I beg your pardon. His number was somewhat obstructed by our angle. But the flags are down at the 30, and this may be holding country.
That's frustrating right there, Cam, as a heck of a run gets negated. It's coming all the way back for PHS.
Well, Joel Kafka has to stop and talk with Jefferson, who was disappointed and discontent with the call, so he'll hurry back to the huddle. So after the holding call, the football will be pushed back even further.
Was it a hold or it was a block in the back?
Either way, the penalty pushes the Purple Dragons back inside of their own 20-yard line at the 17, where the play initially began. Or excuse me, no, ball's played, at the 17, excuse me. I was getting ahead of myself, where the play initially began. Shotgun formation for Curtis. Trips towards the near side of the field. Curtis looks inside, finds Sutton, and Sutton's dragged down after a gain of 5.
So Sutton, who had a huge explosive catch last week against Webb City there, gets himself a good slant route to get some yards there, about 5 or 6, so that's going to lead to about a 3rd and 5 for PHS on their very first drive of the second half.
So 5-yard pickup following the quick slant. Sutton did a good job holding on to the football. 10-18 remaining in the third quarter of play. 19-13 to score, a 6-point lead for the Purple Dragons. 3 wide receivers set, ace receiver towards the far side of the field. Pressure coming towards the near side. Curtis, option read. He'll keep it himself. Jukes back inside. He's on the right hash mark and dropped to the 35, following a pickup of 13 yards on the ground.
And Cam, that is the senior leadership. Chase Curtis calling it himself. It's the read option play, keeping it, and he will do his own thing as Curtis gets the first down, moving the chains for PHS.
And those RPOs, hard to stop if you're a defense that's expecting to pass. But the DN came crashing down from the right side of the defensive line. Curtis hesitated a moment, forced the DN to break towards the outside of it, and that gave him enough of a sliver to pick up double-digit yards. First down and 10 from the near side hash mark. Curtis lines up under center from his own 35. Turnaround, handoff directly into the belly of Evans, who tries to plod forward near the 40-yard line. Dropped officially at the 39 for a gain of 4.
Well, there we go. It's the fullback dive again with Brandis Evans, as Evans got himself some good yardage. And again, nothing but positive things for PHS so far, except for that one penalty. So things are looking good for the Dragons on the first drive.
Ben Daniels needs a sub on the defensive side of things, so Mason Couch comes in for the Tigers on the second down and 6 with 9:05 remaining in the third quarter. Deuces towards the far side of the field. Curtis brings a man in motion in Sutton. Curtis, bootleg, rolls near side. He'll tuck and run past the 40, hesitates at the 45 and steps out near the 46. And Curtis ended up getting a full face mask of turf. It's not on his face mask right now, but he planted face first into the turf right on the Tigers sideline.
Cam, I believe that should be enough for the first down. That's exactly what it is, so let's move the chains. Good job by PHS to get the first down. I wasn't able to see what was downfield if Curtis had a man, as he was just rolling out looking for something as he got nothing, but got the first down.
Well, Curtis did a nice job extending the play. He was trying to find a prospect to throw to, but ultimately was under strict advisement to tuck and run, and picked up 7 yards on the carry. First down and 10 towards near field. Ball on the left hash mark. Trips bunch towards the far side. Curtis hikes up his left leg, awaits the snap. Fake to Jefferson. He finds the wide open Zachary Sutton. He was wide open as he crosses the 15. It will waltz into the end zone for a Purple Dragon touchdown. A 54-yard strike. Curtis, for the second time in the contest, has completed a touchdown of over 50 yards.
Well, Sutton had himself a huge touchdown last week. He's going to have it again. And the Purple Dragons have a 12-point lead at the current moment.
Well, Nathan Neef is set to kick the PAT. He's situating himself currently. Puts his left foot down to plant. He has a big right foot to kick it. Waiting the snap is Roark. The big hammer ducks in between the pipes, and it is good. 25-13 the score. Chase Curtis showing flashes of brilliance. A quick slant to Zachary Sutton, and then bulleted from 54 yards away, all into the end zone for 6. 26-13 now the score. 8:47 remaining in the third quarter of action. We will step aside for 30 seconds to bring you back more action on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
Attorney, you should make sure they have the resources to fight large corporations or insurance companies. Your attorney should have extensive trial court experience and a track record of success. The Spigarelli Law Firm, with offices in Pittsburg and Coffeyville, has the experience, resources, and reputation to provide the quality representation your claim deserves. Fred Spigarelli has received the top rating from his peers with the Martindale-Hubbell Independent Rating System. His firm has the resources to hire the experts and physicians needed to properly present your claim.
And we welcome you back to Fort Scott, Kansas. Avi Sharma Cambolina with you. Score 26-13 now. Purple Dragons with a 13-point edge. Their first double-digit lead of the ball game. And it was a 54-yard connection from Chase Curtis to Zachary Sutton. That is the second touchdown of the contest for Curtis of over 50 yards. He has 3 total in the ball game, all through the air. And now he has 7 passing touchdowns on the season. And Nathan Neef is set to kick it away. He has fuel awaiting the return from his own 2-yard line. Neef checks to his right, now checks to his left. Right hand up, awaiting the officials to give him the okay. The big booming right-legged kicker sends it high into the night sky. The ball oscillates, and Fuel loses the football at the 5. Nearly muffs it. He'll try to split 2 Purple Dragon defenders, but he's down inside of his 15 at the 14.
So out comes this Tiger offense. Again, the first half, they started off strong, and then they slowly didn't get anywhere, Cam. The main thing that we could circle there as look out as Fuel walking off the sideline. He's hurting a little bit there, Cam, so he needs stretching out. And the cramps, like you mentioned earlier, big factor.
Yes, Jewel is currently being stretched out inside the coach's box towards the furthest left corner by one of the trainers. And it's just such a muggy, sultry night. I don't think many expect it to be this muggy in Kansas. Jones will line up under center. He has split backs, one of the split back veer options. Bollinger and Lawrence, the two backs. Jones keeps it himself. He looks, tries to lob a pass over deep. Ball up in the air, and it's a jump ball falling incomplete. Drew Rolfs on coverage against Brown.
Just one-on-one coverage, throw it up, make a play. Nobody wins the battle, but hey, there's some laundry on the field, Cam. And it's going to be on the offense. It's going to be a holding. So we'll see what PHS wants to do, decline this thing or accept it and move them back 10.
So you would imagine if you accepted it, it would be a first down and 20 from inside of the 5-yard line of the Tigers. That may be the best recourse in this situation.
That's exactly what they're going to do, and they might be half the distance.
And that it will be. The ball is placed at the 7-yard line of the Tigers. 8:36 remaining in the third quarter of play. Drew Rolfs was on the coverage. Excellent job defending Brown, who's a very speedy wideout. Jones immediately lines up under center. I formation. Two wide receivers set. Near side is Brown. It's a movement on the offensive line, which may move the football back even further.
Here we go again, as this time it was Andrew Callahan, the senior lineman, getting the head start. So moving back 3 yards.
So the ball at the 3.5-yard line. I wish there was like a mini little hash in between each hash mark to show that it's a half-yard line separation. A 13-point lead for the Purple Dragons as Jones was all the way over towards the nearest pylon and now makes his way back into the huddle. From his own 3.5, it's a first down and 20. Jones will line up under center. Deep back is Lawrence. He'll put the football right into the tummy of Lawrence, who breaks one tackle. Jelani Long was the second to the last line of defense, and he's able to drop Lawrence near the 15-yard line, a pickup of 12.
So Lawrence going to get the workload, the senior running back, as Fuel, again, continuously trying to get stretched out, Cam, as he is hurting, not being out on that field with his teammates, but a great job by Lawrence to step up and take care of that role.
Lawrence, the deep back again. Fuel still on the sideline being tended to. Jones turns around, hands it off to Lawrence. Lawrence tries to bully his way for the first down, but he's quite short of the first down marker. As it was a 2nd down and 9, he picks up 5. 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 for the Tigers.
Important 3rd down here for the Tigers to get some momentum to start off this third quarter for them, as they are about a 3rd and 2, or 3rd and 1 actually. So a lot closer than we thought here. We'll probably see the ground and pound again by Fort Scott.
3rd and short, 7:30 remaining in the third quarter. Deep back again, it will be Lawrence. 3 straight handoffs. He tries to bounce to the outside, wrapped up around the ankles, and what a tackle by Joel Kafka.
One-on-one tackling. Joel Kafka does a phenomenal job against Lawrence. And so just like that, Fort Scott is going to have to punt this thing away potentially, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
Kafka, with over 20 tackles entering this contest, and a pick, steps up big time for his crew. He makes his way past midfield into his own territory at the 49-yard line. Again, back to kick is Michonne. Michonne stands on his own 13-yard line with a shadow casting near the officials towards his left side. Kick is wobbly as it takes a hop at the 50, a mighty hop at the 49 to the 48, and a late flag comes in. And Dylan Jordan on the sideline is asking, what is the flag for? And Shoemaker was also over there, but not sure what the context is. And now Shoemaker with the palms up, making the I don't know what the call is look, or why would it be on me face. And it seems like it'll be on the Purple Dragons, and it's a personal foul yet again, and this is probably the 6th personal foul we've seen in this contest, Avi.
Cam, I gotta tell you, I think it's that side judge is the only one that's calling those personal fouls. So interesting here, as the Dragons now have to start way back than where they wanted to. So no longer the 48-yard line. They'll be pushed back even further. But interesting, again, Cam, I did not see the unnecessary roughness or the unsportsmanlike conduct, but regardless, it's going to be first down for PHS.
Well, it happened right in front of us. You and I were transfixed on where the football was going to stop. Jordan was tangled up with Shoemaker, and now the offensive series is set to begin. The second one of the third quarter for the Purple Dragons. They were able to capitalize last time, a 54-yard dart between Curtis and Sutton. Curtis trying to read. He'll scamper forward near the 39-yard line and back to the line of scrimmage.
So the ground game's still a bit of a problem for PHS, but I gotta say, Cam, even though they're up by 13 right now, Fuel is not out on the field. He is the safety for the Tigers, and so I would say there's a new safety out there. You throw it right at him and see if he's prepared for this.
Second down and 10, no gain on the run by Curtis. 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter, a 13-point advantage for the Purple Dragons. Trips formation. Coming out the shotgun is Curtis. He'll hike up his right legs. Palms awaiting the snap. He has it. He looks deep over the middle. Takes a shot. Wide open is Dylan White. How can you leave him open? He maneuvers past the 40. He's at the 35 and finally shored up inside Tigers territory at the 38-yard line.
And so just like that, it's a PHS first down. And they're moving the chains as Coach Campbell for the Fort Scott Tigers is going to talk to the side judge real quick, see if they can get a penalty or see what happened there, as he is a little upset.
30-yard pickup on the play. Curtis, I formation, 2 wide receivers set. And Zachary Sutton, one-on-one near side. Hand off to Evans. Evans high steps past one defender, chopping his feet forward. He continues to chug forward. What a mightily strong man. Football comes loose at the end of the play, but it's called dead at the 30-yard line. A 6 to 7 yard pickup on the run by Brandis Evans. He was trying to do just a bit too much towards the end of the play. Had the officials not blown the play dead, it would have been a Tigers recovery.
And Cam, this is what happened last half as it was flip it around as Fort Scott had a run and they were getting tackled, but the ball was out and they whistled it dead. So same thing here as Evans was running and he wasn't down just yet, but they blew the whistle when he fumbled, so therefore the ball is dead.
Under 5 ticks remaining in the third quarter of play, 26-13 to score. Deuces far side of the field. Dylan White again, the furthest receiver. Deep back is Corbin Jefferson, but a flag comes out as the play clock hits 0. So the Purple Dragons will have to go 5 yards back. So instead of a 2nd and 3, it's a 2nd down and 8.
It's going to change up the game plan a little bit for the Purple Dragons. And Cam, something great to see. Colby Page back out on the field for Fort Scott as he went down earlier in this game. Didn't look like he was good to go as he was having a hard time favoring that leg, but good to see him, the senior, back out there.
Curtis and company will line up under center once again. Deuces towards the far side of the field. Curtis, deep pitch to Corbin Jefferson. He weaves past one defender. He's outside of the numbers at the 30 and is finally wrapped up and dropped inside of the Tigers' 25 to the 27-yard line.
Well, it seems that the halfback toss is working for both teams as the Purple Dragons now execute the halfback toss. And now Fuel is back out for Fort Scott.
Lawrence will take a breather on the sideline. Fuel, a good chance to stretch out his legs following the cramp. And a very, very, very muggy night in Fort Scott, Kansas.
We might cramp up here, Cam.
My jaws are starting to feel it right now. Curtis lines up under center. Deep back is Corbin Jefferson. Delayed handoff to Jefferson as he tries to wiggle in between 3 Tigers, but that is a no-go as he's immediately stomped out past the 27 to maybe the 26.
Well, it looks like that counter play was not what was planned, as a couple PHS Dragons were a little confused with each other there, but regardless, it's going to be a 2nd and 9 for the Dragons.
Jefferson, the last 2 carries, 8 total yards racked up. Ball is actually spotted at the 22-yard line, I beg your pardon. So it will be a 2nd down and medium situation with under 3:30 remaining in the third quarter. Curtis hikes up the right leg, awaits the snap, looks left side. Wide open is Ty Cicero, the tight end. Bust past one tackle. Football comes loose at the end of the play. It is recovered by the Tigers at the 3-yard line. That would have been Ty Cicero's 2nd reception on the year, and it would have been a near touchdown, if not at the 1-yard line. But Cicero absolutely lambasted from his blind side. Football came loose at the end of the play, and it was Wilson who recovered at the 1-yard line for the Tigers.
Cam, would you like to take a guess who made the play for the Tigers?
I would not. I want you to tell me.
It was the man who just came back on the field for him. It was Fuel with the big hit to cause the fumble. So all momentum was in favor of the Dragons, but no longer anymore, as Fort Scott now has the ball. But however, they're at the 3-yard line. So be careful here if you're Fort Scott.
You know, Fuel is probably less than 180 pounds. Cicero probably 210, 215, if not more. And there's almost, 6-7 inches worth of difference in height. Jones turns around, handoff is to Fuel, who's trying to get back into action following his injury last offensive possession. And it's a gang tackle by the Purple Dragons.
There you go, second, about 8 or 9 here for Fort Scott. Clock continuing to wind down. We're about 2:50 left, and my goodness, these quarters are just flying by, Cam, as both teams grounding and pounding now.
Obviously, we've seen a real shift in strategy for the Purple Dragons. They've elected to go to the air more often than not, but the Tigers still sticking to their guns. Under center, Jones. Deep pitches to Fuel. Fuel has one lead blocker, tries to cut it back inside the numbers, but he's stopped at the 8-yard line, maybe a pickup of 4 yards.
You see the emotion by Jarek Butcher, clapping, getting his teammates excited. Like, hey, it's 3rd down. We're doing a great job shutting him down as Fuel now jogs off to off the field. So we might see another passing play here by Fort Scott.
3rd down and about 6 to go. 2:10 remaining in the 3rd quarter of action. 26-13 the score. Jones makes his way back into the huddle, and what is a manageable situation for the Tigers. Short distance can really help this team. Offset back to the shotgun formation. Jones with 2 wide receivers. He looks to throw. Near side, incomplete, and a flag comes in. Brett Weimer's there too early on Gunnar Brown. Brown just ran a quick hitch route on the near side of the field. He hesitated at the 15. Weimer's there about half a second too soon.
Cam, that's a tough call. I got to say, let the kids play. I thought that was a great one-on-one battle on the corner there. But getting busted is Weimer's, and so that's going to move the chains for this Fort Scott team. So PHS, and again, look at Jarek Butcher showing emotion out on the field, trying to get these guys going. Say, hey, ignore that. We're doing a great job. We got to keep this up.
Butcher trying to keep his team calm more so than anything and composed in a situation like that. Shotgun formation again, offset backs. To the left of Jones is Lawrence. Jones looks, quick out route, caught by Shoemaker. He's forced out of bounds across the 25 to the 27-yard line for a 4-yard gain.
Job by Butcher again, the leading tackler of this team, bringing him out of bounds and gonna stop the clock at the moment for the Tigers. And again, Cam, Fuel is just having a tough time staying on the field. He is hurting or something as he is again back off on the sidelines.
Fuel still feeling the cramps in the back of his leg. 2nd down and 5, $1:45 remaining in the 3rd. 3 wide receivers set, deuces towards the far side. Lawrence is unable to wrangle in the football. It was a jump ball throw. Jones was unable to put it on a frozen rope. So Lawrence, for some reason, I think the football is right at his face mask now that I think about it. He decided to leap into the air and try to bring in the football. Not a smart decision.
But I tell you what, that was not the best of passes there by Jones to throw it up to Lawrence, as the Tigers now face a 3rd and 5, critical 3rd down now, as they need this, as last time they got bailed out on a pass interference call.
3rd and 5, 1:40 to go in the 3rd quarter, a 13-point lead for the Purple Dragons. Same formation, shotgun, this time fueled to the left of Jones. Near side receiver is Gunnar Brown. Jones feeling the pressure up the middle. He'll roll out, try to deliver a throw to Shoemaker. He was able to wrangle the football in one-handed, but he stepped out of bounds before he had complete possession. Wow, Shoemaker, though, what a grab.
That was a heck of a grab by Shoemaker. However, not going to get it, so it's going to be a 4th down. And let's see what Fort Scott wants to do. I think the safe bet here is to punt this thing away.
4th down and 5 from the 28-yard line.
Waiting on it, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Is you're going to see a whole squad of Tigers come in. So PHS will get the football again in a potentially, again, good field position.
The Tigers know they still have a whole quarter ahead of them, and the Purple Dragons offense has either scored quickly or has stalled out. Kapia all the way back on his own 43-yard line. Mashawn, beautiful punt. that takes a hop at the 45, takes a bounce back at the 48, and is finally stopped at the 46-yard line. 1:27 remaining in the third quarter of action. The Purple Dragons offense comes out for the third time in this third quarter of play.
So back out comes this PHS offense. Had a heck of a drive going for them last time. Unfortunately stopped by Fuel and Company as it was a fumble, and the Tigers recovered the ball.
The Tigers immediately will show two safeties deep. I formation for the Purple Dragons. Deep back is Corbin Jefferson. Curtis takes it himself on a read. He darts inside. He breaks past the 35 to the 40. Inside Tiger territory. One man to beat at the 5. High steps into the end zone for 6. A 53-yard thrusting burst from Chase Curtis as he's able to weave in and out of traffic for the touchdown.
Wow, just like that. Chase Curtis dialing his own number on the speed option to give the Dragons the extended lead now, potentially a 20-point advantage.
Gorman was the last line of defense. He went to go nip at the ankles of Curtis, and he started high-stepping, and that was the device that was able to guide him into the end zone. 32-13, the score now. Purple Dragons with a chance to make it a 20-point game. Nathan Neef back to kick. His foot on the 17-yard line. Right-footed kick is no good. So Nathan Neef last week missed a PAT, and he was also hitting the leg. And now this week he misses a PAT. 32-13 to score. A 19-point advantage for the Purple Dragons, who are currently on a 20-point unanswered streak with 1:17 remaining in the third quarter of action. ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters, return with the waning minutes of the third period of play.
What's more American than baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie? It is vitally important that you hire the right attorney. Before choosing an attorney, you should make sure they have the resources to fight large corporations or insurance companies. Your attorney should have extensive trial court experience and a track record of success. This Pigarelli law firm with offices in Pittsburg and Coffeyville has the experience, resources, and reputation to provide the quality representation your claim deserves. Pigarelli has received a top rating from his peers with the Martindale Hubble independent rating system. This firm has the resources to hire the experts and physicians needed to properly present your claim. The law firm has successfully tried cases for over 40 years and taken numerous cases all the way to the Supreme Court. Call the Spigarelli Law Firm today at 877-409-79.
32-13 to score, a minute 17 remaining in the third quarter of action, and the Purple Dragons with a 19-point lead over the Fort Scott Tigers on the road during their homecoming. Neath sends it away, a deep kick. Fuel will go all the way into the back of the end zone, and it's a touchback.
All right, so PHS looking good. They got the momentum now. The defense played very, very well last drive as they shut down Fort Scott trying to air it out last time as the Tigers now have to go, Cam. They're down by 19.
Well, Avi, the adjustment on the defensive line for the Purple Dragons has been outstanding and very noticeable. Also, Fuel has been on the sideline most of this second half as Chase Johnson quickly received something from the sideline. I think it's either a mouth guard or his wristband that has plays on it as he conducts the defense from that hybrid linebacker / safety position. Quick turnaround, handoff is to Fuel. Fuel weaves in and out of traffic. He's outside the numbers at the 35. It is finally lassoed down by Jelani Long at his own 39-yard line, a run of 19.
And I tell you what, that was a great tackle by Jelani Long, because if he would not have hung on to that jersey by Fuel, Fuel's gone.
Jelani Long, a good touchdown saving play. The Tigers wish they had a few more of those as Chase Curtis on one play went 53 yards for a touchdown. And the speed option has really, really played in his favor this season. He now has 6 rushing touchdowns on the year, 4 total in the contest. Under center is Jones, offset back. Handoff is to Lawrence, and Lawrence grabbed by the jersey on the right shoulder pad and forced down. Ultimately stamped down just outside the 45 at the 44 for a 4-yard run.
So Cam, yet again, the ground game gets going by Fuel. and he has to come out again because of the cramps. There's something going on with him.
20 seconds remaining in the third quarter. A 19-point lead for the Purple Dragons, 32-13 to score. Jones and company, maybe one more play before we head into the fourth quarter. Under center, single back, no. Offset formation on the split veer. It will be a handoff this time to Mashawn, and Mashawn is forced out of bounds across the 45 at the 46, a 2-yard scamper, and that will lead us into the fourth quarter of play. The Purple Dragons sinking up in this third quarter of action with 2 touchdowns scored and 1 turnover, but the Tigers offense has stalled out on now 2 drives. The Purple Dragons looking to wrap it up for their first road win of the season and their third victory overall. ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters, returns in 30 seconds for your home of Purple Dragon Athletics.
If you are injured in an accident or on the job, it is vitally important that you hire the right attorney. Before choosing an attorney, you should make sure they have the resources to fight large corporations or insurance companies. Your attorney should have extensive trial court experience and a track record of success. The Spigarelli Law Firm, with offices in Pittsburg and Coffeyville, has the experience, resources, and reputation to provide the quality representation your claim deserves. Fred Spigarelli has received the top rating from his peers with the Martindale-Hubbell independent rating system. His firm has the resources to hire the
We welcome you back to Fort Scott, Kansas, as well as ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters. If you're just joining us, whether it's on the dial or on our live stream on YouTube, we welcome you in. Alongside Avi Sharma with the terrific Willie Jackson back at our KSHQ studios, I'm Cam Molina. 20 unanswered points for the Purple Dragons, including 13 points scored in the third quarter of play. Chase Curtis has had a hand in all the scores, Avi, and he has been absolutely phenomenal tonight.
Well, number 18 doing what number 18 does best, and that's just being the senior leader that he is, doing a phenomenal job as he has done everything that Coach Nicholson could ask him to do. Just a great job by Chase Curtis, as earlier in this game he was getting frustrated. He didn't know what to do on some of those situations, and now they've got the lead and he's feeling good.
Tigers with only 12 minutes left, down 19 points. Jones hikes at the right leg, brings Fuel in motion, is able to wrangle down the football on a high snap. Fuel crosses the plane at the 50-yard line to maybe the 49, and it should be enough to move the chains.
That does look like enough for the first down. So Fuel, first play back in the game, almost a jet sweep that almost went bad as it was a bad snap, but Fort Scott getting the first down. This is exactly what they need right now, Cam, trailing by 19.
Jones with the quick response time, and the reflexes were on point. He had to jump up in the air, grab the football from his helmet height, drag it down to his belt level, and then hand it off to Fuel. Offset backs for this Veer offense. Under center, Jones fakes to give to Lawrence, fakes to give to Fuel. He runs towards the near side of the field, past the 50 and out at the 46-yard line. Jerry Butcher will now pull in Ty Cicero, give him a pat on the back, and Butcher now waving his arms back and forth and telling his players to get set because the Tigers are probably going to go at a hectic pace.
And, you know, Jarek Butcher has done a phenomenal job of being the middleman, if you will, tonight. You know, making sure that no extracurricular stuff happens after the plays. Doing a good job, being a leader on that defensive team that Pittsburgh really needs. And I got to say congrats to Jarek Butcher for the sportsmanship and the mentality that he has.
An interception in this game as well. He has 2 on the season. He had double-digit tackles last week against the Cardinals. Offset backs, Fuel to the left of Jones. Jones looks, out route thrown, and it's out of bounds, a bad throw. His intended target, and Campbell was not there.
It's a little too far, and we've seen this a couple times now in the air that Jones has just been lobbing those things up. So he's got to put some more oomph in it to get his receivers the football.
Well, either you're going to leave your receiver out of bounds, or there's going to be a sneaky corner that decides to play a little bit tighter and pick that football off, and no one will catch him. 11:27 remaining in the ball game. 3rd down and 5 for the Tigers. They're on the left hash mark, nearest towards their bench. They hand it off to Fuel. Fuel bounces off of his own offensive lineman across the 40, across the 30, and is finally lassoed and thrown out of bounds by Jelani Long at the 26-yard line. A pickup of 19.
So the spark plug for this Tiger team doing what he needs to do. And for them to continue to stay like this, Cam, he's got to stay on this field. He's I wouldn't say overcome the cramps, but he's got to do what it takes to stay on this field because they're appreciating everything that he can do.
32-13 the score. 11-10 remaining in the final quarter of play. Deep back is Fuel. Hand off to Fuel as the ball's forced into his belly. Ty Cicero on the tackle after a pickup of 3 yards.
And there we go. So Fuel again doing the workload. He's got to come out, stretch that hammy or quad out again as the Tigers driving.
Tigers able to squeeze 3-4 yards is the official tally from Fuel, who has been battling cramps throughout the night. And now the officials will stop the clock. It is an official timeout. The Whitecap wanting a new football.
No, not the Whitecap. Coach Campbell. Coach Campbell wanted the new football right there.
Well, I don't think there's any Deflategate at the high school level, or at least I wouldn't imagine.
I really hope not. I mean, I don't think there's as many cheaters out there as the Patriots are. So.
You have this disdain for the Patriots that I just don't understand.
Oh, Cam, I can go on and on about it, but let's not worry about it.
Split back to the backfield. Lawrence to the left of Jones as he lines up under center. He'll fake it. Jones keeps it himself across the 20 to the 18-yard line. The ball started to wiggle loose out of his mitts towards the end of the play.
So I got to tell you, that was a scary play there for Jones as he almost lost the football on the speed option. And another referee whistle blowing here as they want to figure out what's going on. Not sure. Oh, it looks like one of the Dragons have some equipment to get fixed there.
So following the malfunction momentarily of a piece of equipment for the Purple Dragons, it'll be under 10 minutes remaining in the final quarter of play, 32-13 the score. Jones and company just 2 yards to go for a first down in Purple Dragon territory. Ball in between the hashes on the on the Purple Dragons 18. There'll be a handoff to Lawrence. He wheels towards the far side of the field. He's forced back. Drew Rolfs as well as Chase Johnson and Jelani Long all there on the stop for Pittsburg High School.
So Jelani Long caused the problem there for Lawrence, and then a great tackle by Drew Rolfs. Has now a 4th down, I believe, Cam?
Well, the lead official's at the 15. The first down marker was at the 17.
Okay, so they're going to move the chains.
Yeah, there it is.
There's the chains. They're going to move it, and main thing here, Cameron, that clock is winding down slowly. 9:30 and counting.
This would have been the perfect game plan through the first half of action, but now down 19, you have to rely on Jones' arm a bit more, and I don't think Coach Campbell feels comfortable doing that. Jones lines up under center, handoff to Fuel. He cuts back inside the numbers, and he's dropped at the 19-yard line. I think a flag, yes it did, came in towards the tail end of the play, and it's at the 19-yard line. It will be what appears to be a face mask on the Tigers. So going the opposite direction. Javi down 19 points, practically 3 possessions with 9 minutes to go. That's a lot of legwork still left. You cannot afford, if you're Coach Campbell and this Tiger crew, to have gaps like that.
Yeah, I get it. Fuel is your game changer, but you're going to have to get this ball in the air. As Jones, the senior, he's done this time and time again, Cam. They got to do something else other than run the ball because this clock is just winding.
9:08 remaining in the 4th quarter. From the left hash mark on the Purple Dragons 25. Jones looks near sideline. Caught, trying to wheel out of a tackle is Campbell, and he stopped at the 10-yard line for a gain of 10 yards.
Well, there you go. That's what you needed right there. Get him a short pass. Give him some confidence to continue to throw this football as he remained in bounds. So the clock will continue to tick.
Campbell, not a very smart decision. He should have lowered his shoulder. He had the opportunity to go out of bounds, but he tried to shake off a one defender and ultimately was kept in play. 8:38 remaining in the final quarter of action. 19-point lead for the Purple Dragons. Deep back is Fuel. Hand off to Fuel. He has a lead blocker. He'll try to run outside the hashes. He'll go back inside. He weaves in and out of defenders and is into the end zone from 11 yards away.
So that's exactly what Fort Scott needed, but not too much time to celebrate, as this Tiger team is going to have to go for 2 to narrow this lead down to 11.
So you go for 2, you complete it. It's 32-21, still down 11 points, Avi. You still need a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal, or just 2 touchdowns.
The good thing about this, Cam, is they do have their 3 timeouts remaining. So
Jones will line up under center, fueled to his left side off the split back. So it'll be a fade route. Campbell, jump ball for it, incomplete. Jelani Long, the safety, read it beautifully as he went on an angle towards the near side of the field and was able to swat the football away, and maybe some poorly timed fireworks and maybe a touchdown, but right now you're down 13 points. 32-19. Now the score with under 8:30 remaining in the final quarter of play. We will step aside for 30 seconds to bring you back more Purple Dragon action on ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters.
Feeling lucky? Indigo Sky Casino is giving away the cash. All month long, over $120,000 will go. Cash Bundle Fridays, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Play and win your share of over $42,000 in cash. It's the cash giveaway every day. More ways to play and win. Pass the rest and play the best. Indigo Sky Casino, Highway 60 west of Seneca, Missouri.
32-19 the score, 8:27 remaining in the contest. We may potentially see an onside kick here, Avi. The Fort Scott Tigers were able to score from 11 yards away as Fuel darted in between, dicked up, dived, and dodged several defenders into the end zone for 6.
Cam, I gotta say, onside kicks have been very successful in the high school, collegiate, and professional leagues this year, so I would never rule out an onside kick.
Purple Dragons preparing for it. Colvin will send it deep, though, as the ball weaves all the way to the 10, takes a very good Tiger hop at the 10-yard line. Jelani Long scoops it up, so the Dragons offense will start from inside of their own 15-yard line. Chase Curtis and company, not in any real hurry, up 13 points. They can definitely utilize the clock as they wish. We may see some more handoffs to Jelani Long, Corbin Jefferson, and Brandis Evans.
I think the main workload here is going to go to that fullback and Brandis Evans. He has done a great job tonight when he gets the football to just keep plowing. So we'll see what Coach Nicholson has in mind.
Under center will be Chase Curtis. I formation with Brandis Evans directly behind Curtis. Curtis turns around. Corbin Jefferson directly behind him, but he gives it off to Evans, and Evans crosses the 15-yard line to the 16-yard line, but a flag comes in late.
Surprise, surprise, Cam. Another flag on the play. We'll see what this one's going to be called. I did not see what it was, to be honest with you. Face mask.
It will be a face mask on the Tigers, which will propel the Purple Dragons even further. This is not a good sign for the Tigers, who are making mental mistakes late in the ballgame.
Definitely not what you want, especially late in the ballgame, as you mentioned. Is now a 1st and 10 starting all over again. Clock will continue to run there.
So from their own 20-yard line, the Purple Dragons now with a bit more breathing room. Curtis stands in front of his troops as the play clock is at 15 seconds. Dylan White, the wide receiver towards the near side with Zachary Sutton. Curtis ready to line up under center. Ty Cicero confused as to where to go. There's only 6 seconds on the play clock. Cicero's down, 3 seconds to snap it. Curtis takes the snap, hands off. Here's Corbin Jefferson along the far side of the field. He's past the 30 and is able to break one tackle with his right arm as he was able to swaddle the football in his left arm and pushed out of bounds near the 34-yard line for pickup of 14.
The dominant counterplay by the Purple Dragons, as they've run that all year now. As good job by Jefferson to keep going. And one thing I would have said there is to stay in bounds, Cameron. Keep that clock moving, but instead it's going to give Fort Scott a little break there, even though they gave up a first down.
And awareness is so difficult for any halfback to see if they made it past the first down marker and then slide and let the clock run down. Curtis shotgun formation. He'll send Rolfs in motion. Delayed handoff to Evans, and he will bully his way up the middle, bruising past 2 Fort Scott defenders for a gain of 5.
That's exactly what the Dragons want to do, is just continue to milk this clock. As 7:30 and counting. And you see, again, as you mentioned, no rush at all as Curtis takes his time, looks at the play clock, talks to his team, and now here they go.
And notice how the defense is spread out with White going one-on-one towards the outside against Wilson. In motion. Bring him in over from right to left. A handoff to Evans again. He maybe trudges forward for 2 yards. We'll set up a 3rd down and 2.
So that's the 3rd down that the Tigers want right now. They got to like this because they need a big stop right now, Cameron. As you know, the Dragons are capable of doing anything right here. They can run that read option. They can run the fullback dive. They can throw this sucker. They have many options to do right now.
3rd and about 1 to go. Curtis points towards the play and the game clock, which had both stopped, and now the official will tell it to go. And now the official hanging around near the PHS huddle. Curtis now relaying the play. Deep back is Corbin Jefferson with Brandis Evans directly behind Curtis. One-on-one matchup, Sutton, near side of the field, near the Fort Scott bench. Curtis turns around, hand off to Evans. That one was playing his day. Evans shakes off one defender across the 50 to the 47-yard line in Tigers territory.
There it is. 1st down for the Dragons, and it's looking good as the clock is going to continue to wind down for PHS as Chase Curtis just taking his time, and you know the Dragons are just going to run the football here, Cam.
So, Avi, in this situation, if you happen to force a 3rd down and medium, if you're Coach Campbell, do you use the timeout?
I think it's a good call. With 6 minutes left, I think it's a good call to talk to your defense and give them some confidence. Say, hey, expect something here.
Chris Wood, the senior, lines up towards the near side of the field as the receiver. I formation. Curtis, handoff to Jefferson. It's a counter play. He's outside the numbers. On the far sideline, he's tripped up at the 35 and stopped all the way at the 34.
And hang on, Cameron. A very, very late flag called at the 50-yard line. Chase Curtis pleading why, what happened. So we'll see the main judge through this one.
So the head official threw the flag. No backside judge on this. And it was a personal foul, unnecessary roughness against the Purple Dragons. So instead of a 1st down, I would say deep into enemy territory, the ball is brought back to the 48-yard line of the Tigers.
And Cam, I'm unsure of the personal foul there. I have no idea what happened. All I know is there are 2 guys, 1 Tiger, 1 Dragon, duking it out at the end of the play there, but I didn't see anything unsportsmanlike.
If you say duking it out, though, it makes it seem like they're fighting. So, I mean, I would see a reason why the flag was thrown.
Well, pushing it out. How's that sound?
Right.
A little better there.
The officials are keeping it contained, though.
There you go.
You have to appreciate that. It's 1st down and 10 for the 48-yard line of the Tigers. Sutton comes in motion from right to left. Purple Dragons offense going from left to right. Curtis, play action. He has Cicero deep on the run, lobs it up. Undoubtedly pass interference, and Cicero still came up with the football.
See what they rule this, though.
Well, Gorman was in coverage. He wrapped up Cicero a good 3 seconds before Cicero even had a play. The catch is called no good, incomplete, but the foul will propel PHS further ahead into Fort Scott territory.
So I know you're up by 13 here, but I was expecting a pass sooner or later by this Dragon offense as the play action call was right there. Good job by PHS to technically catch him off guard.
So it is not the spot of the foul, I beg your pardon, as that's at the professional level, I may elaborate. So it will be about a 10 to 15-yard gain, as there is a variety of pass interferences you can commit at the high school level. So marching forward from the 48, it will be what appears to be the 10-yard variety. 15-yard variety.
Man, I wish it was the same in all 3 leagues. Just make it easier on us announcers, Cam, as it's a 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down for PHS.
So an egregious penalty by Gorman, which will set up a 1st and 10 from the Tigers' 33-yard line. Inside the hashes, handoff to Evans. Evans tries to rumble forward, but he's chopped down inside of the 30 at the 27-yard line, a gain of 6.
I'll continue to wind. If I remember correctly, Cam, the Dragons started this drive with about 8 or 9 minutes on the clock. They're just going to take their time all the way downfield.
Curtis still barking orders at his crew as they break away the tribe of Dragons, with Wood still at the wide receiver position at the 28-yard line of the Tigers. 2nd down and 5. Curtis lines up with the I formation, stays with the play clock, which rolls down under 6. Curtis now under 7 with Evans directly behind him. Fake handoff to Evans, handoff to Corbin Jefferson, and he's swallowed up in the backfield. Callahan was there for the initial tackle.
And Cam, guess what? It's going to be an unsportsmanlike penalty on Fort Scott on Andrew Callahan. And that's a free 15, and that's going to move the chains.
Avi, there has just been a litany of penalties like this throughout the contest. The officials, as I said, are trying to keep maybe the extracurricular activity contained, but Coach Campbell now waving his finger at the head official saying, get over here, I want an explanation. And when you put that finger out and say, hey, I want you to come over here, I would imagine you are a bit irate.
As you see, Campbell didn't even want to talk to him as he walks off, a little frustration. They actually called a face mask penalty on that one, Cam, so we'll see how Fort Scott responds to that as they are frustrated right now.
2nd down and 4 to go.
Main thing, Cam, is that clock is continuing.
Under 4:30 remaining in the 4th quarter of play. I formation for Curtis. He has Woods one-on-one on the outside. Curtis, hand off to Evans. Evans busts forward past the 25, all the way to the 20-yard line. A 7-yard gain and a 1st down, which keeps the clock rolling.
And it's not looking good if you're Fort Scott right now, as PHS continuing to dominate this drive and the rest of this game, if you will. So 4 minutes left. Fort Scott still does have 3 timeouts, but they're going to have to make a stop soon.
I know they're not talked about very much, but a very commendable performance for the offensive line of the Purple Dragons, especially the left side of the line, which has bulldozed the defensive line for the Tigers en route to some big runs, as Evans will just fall forward and loses his helmet for a 2-yard gain.
So Evans will now come off the field with that. And Cam, I got to agree with you. The Hogs never get enough credit up there, as they always do a phenomenal job of getting the job done. Obviously always underappreciated, but you know, that's just the life of a lineman. You know, you just use that as motivation to keep going.
Especially after last week against Webb City, where that offensive line was battered and bruised by a very physical senior late defensive line for the Cardinals. This is a great bounce-back game for this crew. Strong right formation. Curtis shotgun. Hikes up the right leg. 3 wide receivers on the field. Deuces towards the near side. It's an option play. Curtis keeps it himself. He'll duck in between one Tiger defender, and he's wrapped up by Fuel. He loses the football at the 15, but is able to reach out his arms and bring back in the football.
And I tell you, Coach Nicholson, Chase Curtis, and the rest of this Dragon team are just going to wipe off some sweat off their forehead there as they dodged a bullet, as Chase Curtis was a little lazy with the football there, almost lost it, and could have been a potential turnover.
Well, Fuel has already forced 1 turnover in this contest as he laid down the gavel on Ty Cicero, who came streaking up the middle of the field. Cicero lost the football, and Curtis lost the football on the previous play. And the run was good enough for a 1st down, which puts the football at the 10-yard line of the Tigers, so 1st and goal. Curtis, shotgun formation, hikes up the right leg. Handoff is to Corbin Jefferson, but he is greeted in the backfield and slung backwards for a loss.
Cam, I got to say right now, if you're Coach Campbell, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to call a timeout right now. Got to stop the clock.
So you stop the clock with 2:23 remaining. Down 2 possessions. Best case scenario, you force a turnover and maybe score a touchdown. Worst case scenario, PHS stalls out the clock and wins this game and potentially picks up another touchdown. We will keep it here at Fort Scott, Kansas, with the scores 32-19. If you're just joining us on the dial or on our YouTube live stream alongside Avi Sharma with Willie Jackson back at our KSHQ studios in Pittsburg, Kansas, I'm Cam Molina. PHS trailed to begin this contest, Avi. 7-0 was a Jones 1-yard touchdown. The Tigers, on a homecoming matchup, came out very vigorous and lively and attacked the Dragons at every opportunity that they had. The Dragons would respond with 2 quick touchdowns. Brandis Evans bowled up the middle for a 33-yard rushing touchdown, and then Dylan White caught a 65-yard bomb. But the Tigers would respond and take the lead midway through the 2nd quarter of action as Gunnar Brown scored from 66 yards away, but right before the break, Curtis found Dylan White in the end zone for 6 points. 13 unanswered points in the 2nd half by the Purple Dragons, and since the end of the 2nd half, it has been 20 unanswered points. End of the 2nd quarter, I beg your pardon, not 2nd half. Curtis will line up under center. One wide receiver is setting towards the near side of the field. Curtis keeps it himself. A bootleg. Looks towards the end zone. He'll run it with his legs. Dives towards the pylon, and he's into the end zone for 6 points. And actually, no signal on the play. I thought Curtis dove and made it, but it looks like he's down at the 1.
Well, interesting there. I thought.
Well, the Purple Dragons are signaling touchdown. Cicero signaling touchdown.
There
Curtis
it
signaling
is.
touchdown. Now the official about a minute later signals touchdown. So maybe some issues with the officials in terms of communication from the far side judge who was supposed to make the call. The head official does do that. It was a 10-yard scamper for 6 points for Chase Curtis, who now has 5 touchdowns in the ball game. Nearly a 6.5-minute drive for the Purple Dragons. Neef will attempt the PAT. Ty Roark, the holder. The snap, the hold. Kick is up, and it is no good. Nathan Neef felt the pressure from the far side of the special teams line. The Purple Dragons line broke down and allowed a man to creep through. Neef felt the pressure like a spooked horse and kicked it over the left pipe of the uprights to make the score 38-19. Purple Dragons lead it by 19 points with under 2 minutes remaining. In the final quarter of play, we bring you back the last 2 minutes of play from Fort Scott, Kansas on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
Brown left side hit, lunges to the goal line, touchdown Gorillas.
This is Eddie Lomchek, the voice of the Pitt State Gorillas, inviting you to join us for every Pitt State football game. This week, the Gorillas celebrate family.
Hey Cam, how long did you want that break? Okay. There's a resync, so there's no bumper after this.
100.7 or on the KSHQ app.
Chase Curtis pulling out his do-it-yourself kit for the second time today. His 5th touchdown of the contest. 38-19 the score. The Purple Dragons up 19 points in the waning minutes of the 4th quarter of play. Fuel back to return, dancing, still jubilant. Very happy. He doesn't care about the scoreboard. He thinks he can bring his team back. He has over 500 yards rushing on the year. Coming into the matchup in 10 touchdowns. He has 1 rushing touchdown today. Fuel lets the football take a hop from the 4-yard line. He'll dart towards the near side of the field. Tries to act like a bullet and shoots in between Purple Dragon special teams players, and he's finally slung down near the 35-yard line. Fuel now slow to get up. He is still moving.
It's the cramps, Cam. It's the cramps.
And the cramps strike again, as you said, Avi. And Fuel at the 34-yard line throws off his helmet. He can't handle it on homecoming night. Fuel, what an admirable performance he has pieced together. And he's been dealing with cramps the entire night. His team's trailed the entire second half, and he still is able to dance in the back of the end zone and be a very happy, candid individual and tell his team we still have a chance at this.
Yeah, it's good to see him get off. You hear the crowd cheering him on. As you know, if I'm Coach Campbell, this game's not looking bleak. It's just down by 19. You got to pull him. Say Fuel did a great job tonight, but keep him healthy and get him ready for next week.
A rousing round of applause, and Fuels who's making his way towards the sideline. Looks like Frankenstein in the way he's walking. He's just so cramped up. I feel bad for the young man, as he's really had a difficult night trying to stay healthy, but still a rushing touchdown against the Purple Dragons, who ended up affording several to the Cardinals. Has had a good performance this evening. The ball is at the 33-yard line of the Tigers with 1:50 remaining in the ball game, trailing by 19 points. Jones ends the huddle. He'll line up under center. He'll take it himself. He rolls to the far side of the field. No pressure coming at him. Lobs it over the defense. No one was home. Joel Kafka delivers a late hit on Gunnar Brown. And Kafka, who was trying to put the brakes on, ended up actually making the egregious act look worse as he lowered the shoulder pads and bopped right into Brown.
That's a free 15, Cam. As Kafka there. Not sure what he was thinking. Not a smart decision by him, as he's now going to come off the field on that. I mean, granted, I don't think it's going to benefit too much here, but not a smart decision by Kafka.
Renninger comes in for Kafka following some discipline by Coach Tom Nicholson. It would be one thing if you would try to step out of the way of Brown. I know you have a lot of momentum, but maybe take a hop step and just wrap your arms around Brown to say, hey, my bad, I didn't mean to run into you. But he lowered his shoulder pad.
Or, just run the opposite direction or something. Don't even touch him, because that ball was 15 yards way up ahead field like that. Nobody was going to catch that thing.
That's the mentality this team plays with, though. They want to play to win, and they want to be extremely aggressive. Jones, shotgun formation, and Dylan Jordan jumped off sides way too early. And Jordan was trying to pin it on the left tackle. There was no way that Colby Page jumped. Page was stoic. He was like a gargoyle, never moved an inch. Jordan pointed towards him still. And if you're Jordan and this PHS team, there's going to be a lot of talk going on in the locker room, as well as the film session tomorrow and potentially Sunday, in terms of how many penalties this team committed.
And Cam, no matter what, how many penalties they're causing, look at number 47 on the field, calming down his teammates. Jarek Butcher, again, doing a great job of just saying, hey, guys, we're up. Let's just finish this thing. Let's go home.
Jones looks left. Out route. Intercepted, an easy read by Drew Rolfs. He has daylight across the 30, the 25. One man to beat, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown, as he was able to ski down the near sideline for 6 points, a 48-yard pick six.
Well, there you go. That will be the dagger on this one, as the Dragons with the pick six. You knew it was going to happen sooner or later, Cam. By the way, you were calling the sneaky corners coming out of nowhere. Well, there it was.
Well, Jones has been very limited in his throws. It's been some very shallow underneath routes, some drags, some curls, some hitches, and then the out route, which has been his go-to. Jones that time misread the play as he attempted to find Brown, but Brown was nowhere to be found or had, and it was an easy interception for Rolf. Neef, his PAT is good. He's able to sneak it in this time to a very obscure score on the scoreboard, Avi. 45-19 is the score, between some missed extra points and some failed two-point conversions. We have quite the odd score on the scoreboard. A minute 32 remaining in the ball game. Purple Dragons lead it in the contest by nearly 30 points, a 26-point edge. The Tigers, not much to turn to.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the Tigers. I got to give them props, though. They played very, very well in this first half of this ball game. Keeping this team off their heels, and they did a great job, as I mentioned. But in the end, PHS was just too much. Cam, they aired it out, they ran it, and I think it's no surprise who our player of the game is going to be tonight.
The defense was absolutely confused throughout most of this game for the Tigers. Midway through the second quarter, Dylan White was one-on-one. He had 2 touchdowns in this contest. Chase Curtis in the ground game really mixing it up. Credit Coach Tom Nicholson and the entirety of the coaching staff for doing an excellent job of keeping this Tigers team on their heels. Nathan Neef set to kick it away with a minute 32 remaining in the contest. 45-19 is the score.
Fuel is back there.
Fuel still dancing to the music. Still not too worried. Trying to ignore the pain from his cramps. He'll scoop it up from the 9-yard line. He barges forward past the 20. He's outside the numbers. Cuts back inside at the 30. A very shifty runner crosses the 35 to the 37-yard line. A return of 28.
1:25 on the clock. Fort Scott, clock's about to strike 0. It's almost midnight for them, Cam. Not looking good. We'll see if they want to continue to air this thing out, or maybe just ground and pound it and call it a game.
I do think you bring up a good point. Does Coach Campbell want to risk the potential of injury, or for pride's sake of the homecoming game, do you take a shot deep?
I'll tell you, Fuel's out here, Trips left, and he's having a hard time walking down here.
Jones has trips towards the near side of the field, lobs up in the air, and it's caught by Brown. Brown evades one tackler, and Jelani Long stiff arms an under defender and Brett Weimers and scurries out of bounds at the 45-yard line for a gain of 8 yards short of the first down marker.
Heck, I gotta say, I thought that one was gonna get tipped by Cicero and how high he got up there. But a good job by Gunnar Brown, as we called his name the first half, as he had one heck of a run there. But Brown now trying to do something with the passing game, nothing doing too much, but getting himself about 8 yards.
How about 3 consecutive road games for the Purple Dragons? If they happen to win today, barring any sort of miracle, the Purple Dragons will take on Andover Central. Split backs for Jones as he comes out in the shotgun formation. Pressure comes left side, lobs it up. Jump ball attempted, it's out of bounds as his intended target was Campbell.
Just throwing that thing up there, seeing if somebody can come down with it, as it's now 3rd and 2.
Third down and short for the Tigers. 3rd and 2 to be exact, as you said, Avi, with $1:10 left in the contest. Make sure to stick around for the post-game report where we will go over the scoring drives, a bit of analysis heading into next week, and as well, we will be joined by head coach Tom Nicholson of the Dragons. Jones, halfback to his right side, trips receivers. Stares down the middle of the field, lobs it over the middle, incomplete. He tried to find Gunnar Brown, who was coming back to the football. But now it's a 4th down and 2 with 1:08 remaining in the contest.
The halfback screen not doing anything, and now it's going to result in a 4th down. Potentially the last play for Fort Scott if they don't get this, but we'll see what they want to do as they are continuously trying to throw this thing to get some yards.
4th and 2. This is definitely 4-down territory as Jones comes back to the huddle and relays the message from Coach Campbell. Jones. Line up under center, I formation, one-on-one coverage between Weimers and Campbell to the far side of the field. It will be a handoff to Fields. He was initially denied at the line of scrimmage, was able to ping-pong forward for a gain of 3 and push the chains forward.
Exactly what's going to happen. They're going to get the first down. So Fort Scott getting some momentum out of nothing. This clock will now continuously run. We're under a minute here.
45-19 to score. The Tigers with a whole new set of plays and 2 timeouts. Coach Campbell may want to put up a touchdown before homecoming ends. Jones launches it, tipped up in the air, incomplete pass. Brenniger there on the stop, and it was a good tip by Chase Johnson, who was elated after the play and excited, raising up his right foot and kicking it out. He looked like Ray Lewis for a second with his typical celebration when he came out onto the field.
And Brenniger was actually a little destroyed inside. That should have been a pick. That was right in his breadbasket, right in his hands. Should have caught that one and to seal this game away.
43 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter of action. 45-19 to score. Purple Dragons lead. Near side Campbell, split back. Jones, delay handoff. Fuel wrapped up around the waist and tossed down at the 49 for a pickup of 1 yard.
And we should see one more play tonight, Cameron, and that should do it.
Under 30 seconds now. 23 seconds on the play clock. And now the Tigers, with the play clock still running, will actually have an audible of sorts. They will congregate near the 40-yard line in their own territory. Balls on their own 49 in between the hash marks nearest the near side of the field. Handoff up the middle. Trying to bounce forward for additional yardage following the initial tackle is Michon, and Michon and company will get to the 40-yard line of the Purple Dragons. 2 seconds left on the clock. The official just needs to wave his hands, and that will end the contest. And that will do it. The Pittsburg High Purple Dragons prevail on the road, their first road victory of the season. Following a dismantling against the Webb City Cardinals, they come out on enemy territory against one of their old nemesises in the SEK League. Down by a point midway through the 2nd quarter, and ultimately put up 26 unanswered points before finally having a score from this Fort Scott team. 45-19, the final on the homecoming night for the Tigers. We will step aside for 2 minutes and bring you back the post-game report. We will go over the scoring drives of this contest, some analysis of the contest, and bring up head coach Tom Nicholson from the Purple Dragons. More action from Fort Scott, Kansas, right after this on your home for Purple Dragons Athletics, ESPN 100.7.
Attention drivers. Are you tired of no benefits, little or no home time, and a company that knows your truck number better than your name? Knight Trucking of Lebo wants to talk to you. They operate both pneumatic and end dump equipment, and they need drivers.
What do they cater to?
They offer high-end competitive wages, all late model, well-maintained equipment, including Peterbilt extended hoods, single and family health insurance plans, paid vacations, home most weekends and some weeknights, and IRA savings programs. Say goodbye to low pay, poor equipment, and no benefits. If you have verifiable experience with a good driving record and are seeking a career instead of a job, call today for complete details and application appointment. Owner-operators needed also. Knight Trucking of Lebo, 620-256-6525. Knight Trucking is looking for you. Let Knight Trucking work for you. Call 620-256-6525.
The true test of a great insurance agency comes when you suffer a loss. It's easy to take your premiums, but Ray Ryan of Ryan Insurance of Pittsburgh knows that handling your claim is the most important service an insured needs.
Claim is our chance to let the customer know that we'll be out there, not just that we sold them a policy, we'll also be there when a claim occurs to make sure it gets handled in an honest, respectable way.
Ryan Insurance of Pittsburgh, a trusted choice agency. Find them fast in names and numbers.
No one wants to file for bankruptcy, but a wage garnishment can make it hard to pay the rent, pay the pharmacy, or even feed the family. Bankruptcy can be a viable option to help families cope with unfortunate and unforeseen financial hardship. Call Steve Stockert at Wilbert & Towner, 620-231-5620 for a consultation to find out if bankruptcy is the right choice for you and your family. Call today. Wilbert & Towner, a full-service law firm, 620-231-5620. We are a debt relief agency, helping people find the relief they need in bankruptcy.
Now back to Dragon football.
Final from Fort Scott, Kansas, 45-19 as the Tigers falter in their homecoming game to the Purple Dragons. Last year, the Purple Dragons won by 28 points in the second bout since the Purple Dragons entered the independent status. They're able to come away with a 26-point victory. Avi Sharma, Cam Molina with you, with Willie Jackson back at our KSHQ studios. This game started off in an unfamiliar manner for the Purple Dragons, as first off, it was a touchdown for the Tigers, a 10-play, 70-yard touchdown drive that resulted in a 1-yard touchdown rush by Jesse Jones. That would be his lone touchdown of the night. He would struggle mightily in the contest, throwing 2 interceptions. But ensuing drive for the Purple Dragons, starting from their own 35-yard line, just over 6:30 remaining in the first quarter of play. Ty Rorick on a gadget play found Jelani Long from 19 yards away, which set up a 33-yard rushing touchdown from Brandis Evans. The PAT was no good, which made the score 7-6 with just over 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter of play. The Tigers' second drive of the contest were able to build up some momentum, but ultimately stalled out following a big chop block call that forced the Lawrence 26-yard run to be negated. Pittsburg High School would take the football from their own 23-yard line. Curtis would fumble the football, which would give the Tigers excellent position from their own 47 with 34 ticks remaining in the first quarter of action. It would ultimately be a 3-and-out. The Purple Dragons, with just over 10.5 minutes left in the first half of play, would go 6 plays, 85 yards, as Chase Curtis found Ty Cicero from 21 yards away, would set up a Curtis to Dylan White 65-yard touchdown pass. Dylan White on the season has eclipsed 300 yards. He has 5 touchdowns as well, and a new career long of 65 yards. But immediately responding from their own 18-yard line would be the Tigers, following an unnecessary roughness call against the Purple Dragons. Gunnar Brown on a jet sweep did everything himself. He did a lot of stutter moves, in and out moves, hesitations, whatever you want to say to describe some very elaborate plays in the open field to score from 66 yards away as he dazzled the homecoming crowd. But the Tigers would take a 1-point lead in an absolutely frenzied Fort Scott fan base were now behind their boys of fall. The Dragons would have to punt, as would the Tigers their next possession. But the Purple Dragons, with just over 1:40 remaining in the half, would go 7 plays, 65 yards, and Chase Curtis found Dylan White from 4 yards away. 19-13 at intermission. The Purple Dragons received the football to begin the second half. Chase Curtis found Zachary Sutton a 54-yard touchdown burst. It was a simple, quick slant from Zachary Sutton, who was able to accelerate, burst forward, and pick up the 50-plus yard touchdown. Curtis, 2 touchdowns of over 50 yards passing in the ball game. That was a 7-play, 3-minute drive that went 83 yards, 26-13 at that point. But then Ty Cicero on the ensuing Purple Dragon drive fumbled the football, which gave an excellent time for the Tigers to strike. But the Tigers would be aided by a Brett Weimer's pass interference, but ultimately be forced to a 3-and-out. The Purple Dragons, with great field position following the punt from their own 47-yard line, had Chase Curtis pull out his one-man band kit and burst to the end zone from 53 yards away. He in total would score 5 touchdowns. Fuel the next drive for the Tigers, would be able to piece together an 11-yard touchdown run. And then Chase Curtis from 10 yards away would sneak into the end zone for 6 points. That was the final of his 5 touchdowns in the ball game. And then Drew Rolfs, his pick 6, went 48 yards as he read Jones, who telegraphed his passing play on an out route and took it back for 6 points, 45-19, the final score. Avi, now that you join me, what a great ball game from the Purple Dragons. They've done an excellent job forcing takeaways this season. The defense really has been stepping it up the last 2 weeks.
Cam, it was a great road win for the Purple Dragons. This is the first one of the year that they get a well-deserved road win, as it was a tough one right off the bat. They struggled early. The first half, they actually got the lead before halftime. But, you know, Coach Nicholson was not happy how his team played the first half. It was a frustrating game with the referees. It was a frustrating game with how their team played. But they bounced back the second half, and they played absolutely phenomenal, Cameron. My goodness. As we mentioned, what a game for Chase Curtis. He did absolutely everything. He needed him to throw the football, easy. You needed him to run the football, easy. I mean, Chase Curtis just did a great job, and then that defense, we can't credit him enough. Jarek Butcher doing a great job being a leader on that team, getting an interception today, causing problems for this Fort Scott team. Is they had the ground game going early, but then after second quarter and beyond, they couldn't get anything going against these guys.
Coach Tom Nicholson for the Purple Dragons will join us in just a moment. Avi, the offensive line, also what a great performance.
Yeah, you know, actually, the offense and defensive line, the Hogs doing a great job up front, as they have been ruthless. And here comes the man with the W. It's Coach Nicholson. I'll go ahead and let him take over, Cam.
Thank you, Avi, as we now bring in Pittsburg High School head football coach Tom Nicholson. Coach, chiefly congratulations on the 45-19 victory, but I know you want to rectify all the penalties that happened tonight.
Yeah, we played hard. Playing smart's a completely different story, but they played hard, but my goodness, just way too much, way too much. It's a W and it's great, but you can't have that. It's gonna jump up and bite you at the worst possible time later on in the year. So, yeah, there'll be a lot of teaching and coaching next week.
Coach, during our pregame interview yesterday, you and I discussed the offensive line for your club. Still fairly young. Last week they struggled a bit against the Cardinals, but tonight really pulled together their effort and performed terrifically.
Yeah, they played well, and a lot of offensive lines are going to struggle against that Cardinal defense, but they did really well, and we were beat up. Bentley Bookout starter was out, and then we lost Reese Willis there early in the third quarter, so we had a couple of backups in there, and they really did a good job. They just kept plugging, they kept playing. Coach Bernhardt and Coach Vaughn were coaching like maniacs on the sideline, and the kids responded well. So it was a great job by our running backs and our offensive line. I was really proud of them.
We always talk about Chase Curtis, to bring him back up again. 5 touchdowns in the ball game. He has to really open up the playbook for you.
Yeah, he does, and he made the right reads tonight. He was seeing everything. He was running over to the sideline calling plays. He's a smart football player. He's a good one. It makes everybody on the offensive side of the ball look a whole lot smarter with Chase making the decisions back there in the huddle. Made a lot of checks tonight that were the right checks. Was using his eyes really well, working the safeties over, getting those seam routes open, and then Dylan White made a couple nice catches for him too. So yeah, Chase did a great job running and throwing tonight.
Coach, first road win of the season. Nice to get that monkey off of your back, especially for a homecoming crowd here in Fort Scott.
Yeah, our kids knew it was homecoming, but you know, once it's kicked off, it's just a football game. But Fort Scott, they're a solid team. Man, they're explosive on offense. Eric Fuel is the real deal at tailback. He's tough to bring down. Their offensive line gets off hard. That's a really good team.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time, and again, congratulations on the 45-19 victory over the Tigers.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys.
Once again, that was the Pittsburg High School head football coach, Tom Nicholson, here on ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters post-game interview. We'll go ahead and wrap it up from Fort Scott from the terrific first-time performance tonight from the likes of Willie Jackson, from Avi Sharma. I'm Cam Molina. Special thanks to all parents who will be attending PSU's Family Day tomorrow as the Gorillas will take on the Lindenwood Lions. If you can, make sure to show up and tune in on ESPN 100.7 at 5 p.m. Another special thanks to my parents, Robin McGar, Mike Molina, and my grandmother, Jerry Molina, for tuning in tonight. We'll go ahead and throw it all the way back to Pittsburg, Kansas. Trent Kling with the sports show, with the with the campus bookstore.
There you go. I was waiting for you to fix yourself.
It was almost perfect. Let's throw it back to Pittsburg, Kansas. Take it away, Trent.
I had no idea you did that.
That's what I said when I learned CDL does more than just electrical work. Like plumbing, heat and air, security cameras and alarms, generators, solar panels, even signs for my business. CDL really is one company that has a solution for about everything in my home and business. Learn more at cdlsolution.com.